Is David actually taking us live to YouTube? Oh, there we go. We're going now.
Welcome to the Zoom Test Kitchen, where the magic happens live. Every Friday we're on air, testing tech to thrive. From screen share to breakout rooms, we push Zoom to its max. So sit back, relax, and let's see what's in our tech hacks. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. We'll dive into the settings, explore every single tab. Make sure your mic is clear, your camera not a drab. We'll show you how to host like a pro, manage like a king. With Zoom Test Kitchen, you'll be zooming with a zing. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. Whether you're new to Zoom or an expert in disguise, we've got tips and tricks. We'll open up your eyes. From polls to quizzes, we test functionalities. Join us live, see what Zoom does with ease. So if your meetings lag, or you can't share your screen, or if your audio echoes like you're stuck in between, we've got solutions, we'll show you how it's done. Zoom Test Kitchen, where Zoom fun has begun. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. So tune in, don't miss out on this tech fest we lead. Every Friday, Zoom Test Kitchen, where you'll succeed. We'll make your Zoom meeting smooth, keep the tech in check. In the Zoom Test Kitchen, we've got your back, no wreck. So tune in, don't miss out on this tech fest we lead. Every Friday, Zoom Test Kitchen, where you'll succeed. We'll make your Zoom meeting smooth, keep the tech in check. In the Zoom Test Kitchen, we've got your back, no wreck. These lyrics capture the essence of what the Zoom Test Kitchen does, focusing on testing and teaching about Zoom functionalities in a fun, engaging way. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. We've got your back, no wreck. We've got your back, no wreck. These lyrics capture the essence of what the Zoom Test Kitchen does, focusing on testing and teaching about Zoom functionalities in a fun, engaging way.
Anybody out there?
All right. On that note, I guess I will launch everyone this week. And just give me a second here, and I'll remove Spotlight. And there we go. Hello, everybody on YouTube. As everybody is coming into the room today and they're figuring out which meeting link you should be joining to be a panelist today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone on YouTube. My name is Mike, and Mike Latta, and I was the host last week. And David will be joining us momentarily, but we're going to be talking this week about what happened with Zoom and what any issue, if there are any issues that you may have in the YouTube audience, of course, let us know in chat. I'll be relaying them as we go along. And as David usually does, you'll say, "Hi, everybody." And I will say hello to who am I going to pick on first? Let me see. Mr. Ray Franklin. Say hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, and that's all he said. Because I
She
said to
told me
say
to
that.
say,
He
very
obeys
obedient.
well.
Right. I'm a director. When you're a director, learn to give directions and take directions.
Excellent. Ray's taking direction today. Note that, everybody on YouTube. All right. That could get us into really deep trouble today. Lois, how are you doing this week?
Well, I'm doing fine. Direction, that's south. So I'm giving directions, yeah. When we get done with introductions, I want to find out what was going on with those tiles. So let's talk about that today.
With David's tiles, while only two of us were actually showing up in the tiles.
Well,
Very good
actually,
question.
no, the new people who came in appeared on tiles. But if you turned your camera off, you disappeared from tiles and you couldn't get back on. At least I couldn't get back on. So let's
Right.
talk about that later.
We will. We will. All right. Over to Mr. Robert. Hello from Poland. Come in,
Hello.
Poland.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? I can hear you. Do we have any lag all this long distance across the ocean?
Officially, we better not, because you're paying Zoom too much, Robert. That may be my official answer to that one. Doing good. Doing good. All right. Tony Mobley. Welcome, Tony Mobley. You have a guest this week, I heard, coming soon to a Tony Conversations with Tony Mobley coming soon. So how was your week?
My week was great. We had a fantastic conversation on Wednesday about accessibilities. I actually had some guests who are advocates for themselves, and they shared what they thought was important for people to know about accessibilities. It was a great conversation.
Excellent. And talk to us briefly about your host or your guest coming up this week, Wednesday.
My guest that's coming up this week is Dr. Lamel McMorris. The Power of Resistance is his new book, and we're going to be talking about him. I've known him for quite a long time. He's an entrepreneur. He is a scholar. He is a minister. He does so many things. He's a native of Chicago and also a fellow Morehouse graduate. And looking forward to having a great conversation with him on this Wednesday.
Excellent, Tony. So check that out. Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Tony, correct? 5 p.m.
Yes.
Pacific.
Yes.
Excellent. All right. We'll go over to Peter. Welcome, Peter.
Afternoon from Round Rock, Texas.
How goes the day or the week?
Not doing too bad. I was in the hospital for a couple of weeks, but all's good. So I'm just kind of back doing things again.
Got it. Getting back with it. Excellent. All right. Frank, my co-Canuck in crime. How are we doing from Ottawa today?
I'm good. I have an alternate theory why Ray's good at taking direction. It's because
Uh-oh.
he's been
Look
married
out.
because he's been married a long time.
Oh, that could be true. That could be very true. Oh, he's still counting how many years. Everybody can't see us on YouTube. He's still counting. He's
I
not
wasn't
sure if he
counting
has
the
enough
years.
fingers.
I was counting the never mind. Gone too far. This isn't being recorded, is it, Mike?
Well,
Good.
no, it's just YouTube. It's okay. It's millions.
Broadcast to
Life is good.
millions.
Life is good. Life is good.
I'm changing my name to Ray Harwood.
Oh, there's a segue. Ray Harwood. Help Ray.
Hi guys.
Help Ray out of this.
How's it going?
Doing good. How was the week? In the
The
universe.
week's actually it's an interesting week. I'm wrapping up pre-records for one of my clients' things in September, and I'm glad to have that behind me. The other thing that I've done this past week is I finally decided to upgrade my Zoom Pro accounts to Zoom Business. And because I've also got two phone numbers and phone accounts, and also translated captions that I've been paying for, I upgraded to Zoom Business Plus, which includes the phone and the translated captions and some other stuff. And overall, what I would have been paying, I'm saving, a couple of pennies a day. And it's not huge, but if you bundle all that stuff together, it comes out to a little bit of a saving. So it's pretty cool.
Excellent. So we'll figure out. We'll talk to you more about that, Ray, because everybody will want to know how to do the upgrade process of going from Pro to Business Plus. How you got through that, but that's really cool. So to my other partner in crime from the Zoomy world, and he drinks a lot, especially in his last name, Mr. Johnny. How was the show this week, Johnny?
Show was amazing. So amazing, I'm going to do 2 next week. And as a Business Plus user, you think this was planned, wouldn't you? As a Business Plus user, Ray, don't forget, you've also got the access to the scheduler, which I'm making great use of as well.
Yeah,
and
good.
again, saves you some money because you don't have to subscribe for it.
Yep.
Very, very cool. All right. We said hi to everybody. I'm just checking to make sure I found everybody and everybody's good. Hello to Dan watching us on YouTube. I'll send a shout out. So if you are watching us on YouTube, of course, let us know in chat and we'll do a shout out to you as well. And of course, if you have any questions for us during this episode of the Zoom Test Kitchen, let us know in chat. All right. Lois, let's talk about why tiles was broken on David's machine.
Yeah, that's my question. I've never used tiles personally, but usually you can see everybody. And this time, can you put his screen up so we can look at it?
Absolutely. I will spotlight that for everybody so everybody will be able to see that. Go ahead, Lois.
See, now we're there. We're there. But we weren't. Anybody know what's going on?
I
Could
will.
be,
Some of
could
us
be
are
hidden. Yeah, we're hidden behind the center lockout. That's designed that way.
Yeah. Robert, I know you use tiles, so I'm going to lean on you in a little bit while David is not with us. The only thing I'm thinking is that when Lois was disabling her, actually, Lois, if you could disable your camera right now because everybody's watching you. All right, enable again.
Well, I'm back on the screen, but I'm not in your tiles.
Correct. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You might have shown up in the middle section. I think is what we're saying is behind the ZTK when you came back up. You filled in one of
so
the random.
Enough people in the ZTK to fill it up. So there's 6 people in there, and now I'll be the 7th, so I come back on the screen.
Yeah.
Let me explain what's happening, guys. What happens is that there is a pipeline of people to be put on screen, and in Zoom tiles you can define the time at the time delay to swapping someone out. So what probably happened is when you switch your camera on, you got into that queue and you were sitting there for the clock to count down. When it counted down to you, you were put into the first available slot.
Are you automatically taken out again, or is it just because I turned my camera off that I went out?
There's an option there not to admit people who are have their cameras off, and then it knocks them out. And I have a funny feeling there's the option not to show co-hosts. Let me just check that. Who is a co-host? I can't see any of the co-hosts here, so I don't think any are being displayed.
And do you think that the ZTK covering up 6 tiles in the middle, do you think there's actually 6 people in there that we can't see, or do you think that that's just blank?
I think there'll be random people coming in there, just like we have, what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So about half of them occupied. So underneath that, statistically, you'll have half occupied by something, but definitely not the co-host. And I don't think there are that
So-
many of us to occupy all of the slots.
So do you think that when the tiles got set up, that there was an option to say black out those 6 tiles and cover them up with this thing? Or do you think there might be an option that says don't use those 6 tiles?
Andy actually talked about it. That option not to use those 6 tiles is in the pipeline. It hasn't been made available yet. But so they're being covered up. They're being covered up, and David's covering them up with the logo.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, when David described this about a month ago, he's actually doing, and I forget which production software he uses, but I know I could do it with Mimo Live. I could just flat out put something there as yet another layer on top of the tiles, so it would hide those 6 tiles.
Thank you.
So that
welcome.
makes a lot more sense now, Lois, right? Why everybody was hiding and who's not. Excellent. Cool.
And it also means that asking the question is better than making assumptions, because from what occurred, my assumption was that once you left, you couldn't come back. I was wrong. But from what it looked like, so that's a good lesson for everybody. Don't make assumptions.
Mm,
Don't
Very
guess
good.
as to why it's happening.
absolutely, Lois. That's actually a really good point. Yeah. In the audio visual world, you can assume a lot of things, but again, chances are you're assuming a lot of the time, and a lot of that time, the assumption will come back to bite you in one way or another.
In other parts of life also, I mean, I do this Davis Garden show with a plant expert named Don Shore. And so many times we have, in where we live, we have pest problems that show up. And then 2 weeks later, either it gets dry enough that they're gone, or the things that eat them have come out, or whatever. And so having like a 3-week window of having this problem, then it just dissipates. And the problem is that people will hear their neighbors say, oh, well, you need to put, a purple unicorn out in the garden and it'll clear it out. It may take a few days, but it'll clear it out. Well, they would have gone away anyway. Your purple unicorn did nothing except make you happy, maybe. Anyway, you're smiling,
true.
Robert.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and Hasmuth has just brought in the meters for everybody. All right, and Hasmuth is here. But is Hasmuth sleeping? Yet to be determined. We'll figure that out. It's always a question on the Zoom Test Kitchen. All right. Let me go with until David joins us. Let me go back to Mr. Harwood on the process of upgrading from Pro to Business Plus. Simple, not simple?
Well, I'll tell you. It's easy if you get in touch with your account exec. It's hard if you don't know who your account exec is. And I make it a point to always know who my account exec is, because I always ask whenever there's a transition, which happens about once a year. They shuffle the deck of who gets assigned to who in the Zoom account world for us tier 0 people, and probably at a higher level as well. And then I always connect with them on team chat. And so I reached out to my account exec and said, hey, I've got a couple of pro accounts. I'd like to convert them to business accounts. And he took care of it, and it happened, and I didn't have to do anything. And then I said, I wonder, would it help me to move up to the Business Plus, because it includes the phone and the translated captions, because I'm already paying for 2 phones and 2 captions. And he said, sure. And 3 days later, signed a contract, boom, it's done. So if you don't know who your sales exec or account exec is, I think there's an email address, probably sales or something at zoom.us, and or put in a ticket and just direct it to billing and accounts management and just go, I'd like to know who my account exec is, and they'll put you in touch with them.
And Ray, was it fair to say that you probably, because you have the relationship with your sales representative, that chances are you did not get the stock online price? With, you don't have to tell us what you got. I'm just
No,
saying that.
actually, they they have an option if you are a big customer and that sort of thing to give you some volume discounts. And I didn't ask for anything special, and so the price was the same. But in the meantime, I went, okay, Andrew, I'd like to know, is there anything I need to do? Do I have to like look at my phone numbers? Do I need to, and he gave me the assurances of, no, that all happens well on the back end. And I was very happy to have his input along the way. The
Right.
way sales should be.
The way that sales should be. Yes. Amen to that. Any questions for Ray on the upgrade process? Anybody thinking of upgrading from our panelists or on our friends watching us on YouTube today? I'll wait for the YouTube ones, but I'll go to the panelists first. Anybody
And if
think?
there are no questions, I'll mention that I have in the past written answers to people in the Zoom community who go, hey, can you have accounts less than 10 on a business plan? And the answer back then was no, you have to have 10. I've actually gone back into Zoom community here and there and updated those with the sort of the caveat that we know that it has been rolling out to various regions. I don't know if it's been rolled out everywhere yet, but in most regions, I believe one business account or business plus account is all you have to sign up for, and you're good to go. The one small difference, I think, is that with a business plus account, you can actually have video chat with support. Now, I haven't tried this yet. I think you have to meet a certain monthly spend limit in order to get that just as a business account. I know that enterprise customers, their admins have the ability to just, click, I think, and get on a video chat with somebody if they're having a real issue, sort of a thing. So that to me is, going to be at some point worth its weight in gold. If I have a real issue that is very timely, like in a Zoom event, and things are going south in a hurry, I'll be able to reach somebody.
Very, very cool. Any other questions to Mr. Harwood as our host gets his audio checked out and stares at the camera and waves at everybody and says, hi, everybody.
No, I'm saying I have a question for Mr. Howard.
Harwood and Harwood. Yeah. I did that last week.
My question is, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Okay.
Good. Yeah.
David's here.
David's here. What did I miss? Were we talking about why no one's faces were on tiles again? Is that what I heard in the background?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
They're
Lois
still
caught you red-handed.
They're still hidden behind the cutout.
Yeah.
How are we all doing? Don't feel like you need to wait for me. What are we talking about? What's on the agenda for today?
We didn't wait. We just jumped right in there.
Good. Lois, it's so good to see you.
We were talking about how Mr. Harwood upgraded from Pro to Business Plus this week.
Business Plus? Really?
Yes.
An individual license, or did you do the 10?
No, you don't have to do 10. I had 2 Pro licenses, and I wrote to my account exec and said, hey, I understand I can just move those over. And I actually did it in 2 stages. I went from Pro to Business. And then I got to looking at my 2 phone numbers that I have and my 2 translated captions, both of which are included in Business Plus. And I said, hey, can I upgrade to that? And my phone charges and my translated captions charges went away, and the price updated, and it was minimal pennies difference either way. So
That's fantastic.
yeah.
Now you can't. Not everyone still has access to that one license business.
I believe they do. If I go in now, it still says, 1 to 50 or 250 or whatever the
Really?
upper limit is.
Let me see what it says for me. Oh, you're right. Mine says that also. Interesting. So I guess
Tony.
it's official now.
Yeah. Tony.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, but I'm not signed in. I'm wondering, is it going to switch over once I sign in?
Yeah, you
right now it's
when you looked last time, you didn't see it. I remember.
right.
Yeah.
And so I'm not signed in right now. If I sign in, I'm going to sign in, and let's see if it changes. And I'm wondering maybe it has something to do with that. I think I paid for my subscription in advance.
No, I think
Well,
it's
yeah, I pay annually as well. And I had, June, do you know when your annual renewal date is? Everyone should
It,
know.
it is showing me 1 to 250.
Yeah. Yeah.
so it sounds like that's here
And
to stay now.
an
Yeah.
upgrade is available. I can click on upgrade.
And so my guess is that they don't want to do that for new users who don't really understand the ramifications, perhaps, of the business plan. I don't know. There has to be some rationale that anybody that's going to go in for a small to medium sized business and says, gosh, I need 15 accounts and everybody needs a phone. Do that. A couple of months ago, I actually bought a Polycom, I think it's a something 350 desk VoIP phone, which I now have on the side here, just that I can actually pick up a live phone and talk on it if I want to, and play with that a little bit. One of our
Great.
Zoom community members, Elliot Robinson, is a big phone guy and does a lot of that stuff. And I thought, oh, I should probably learn a little bit more about those things too.
A physical phone?
Yeah,
Crazy talk.
I know.
The Rodecaster Pro just built in. I don't even know how to do it. I have a firmware update.
I will explain as you look.
Oh, good. You understand it?
Yes,
All right.
sir.
Go for it.
Mr. Drinkwater and I have already, well, we haven't demoed it yet, but I know Mr. Drinkwater's unit is compatible. So basically, I just
Compatible with what?
I will explain. So there was a new firmware upgrade for Rode Procaster 2, not the original. So that's important. The Rogue, let me do this. right.
Rodecaster Pro 2.
Yes. The Rodecaster Pro 2 and the other one.
Rodecaster
Say-
Pro.
Duo.
Right. The Duo. Thank you, John. Yeah. So there are 3 official accounts. There's Call Me Lite, which is the free one that comes with the firmware. And there's also a regular Call Me level, which is the recommended one that Rode wants you to get, which is the first paid level. Then there's a Call Me Pro. So the difference, so basically what this allows you to do is if you previously were using Zoom and bringing that into your Rodecaster Pro or Duo unit, and you're only strictly doing audio, that now you could actually just give your person that will be on your podcast with you a code, and if they already have their own Rodecaster Pro or Duo, you can do Rodecaster Pro to Rodecaster Pro 2. I'm doing this right. Rodecaster Pro 2 to Rodecaster Pro 2. You can actually link them. that way, or you can actually have them go to a website, and the website itself will allow that remote guest to connect up to your Rodecaster Pro 2 or Duo unit.
So is that just Rodecaster Pro to Rodecaster Pro connectivity, or is there I can use a web browser and get in to your Rodecaster Pro and be a participant?
Yeah. So
audio only.
Yeah. So the second one that I mentioned was the web browser to Rodecaster Pro 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can do it unit to unit, which is obviously Rode wants to sell more units, obviously. So they want you to have that unit locally, and you can do it that way. Or you could actually do it where you give the panelists a code when they go to the website, and that specific code will actually dial into your Rodecaster Pro 2 or Duo unit, and it then connects the audio.
I'd be interested for those of you that have that. I've got the old Rodecaster Pro, so not eligible.
Right.
But your experience on audio dropouts compared to Zoom audio dropouts when you're doing Zoom. I've used my cell phone and the Bluetooth connectivity to the Rodecaster Pro before to bring in an audio only guest into a webinar. And that worked wonderfully. But yeah, this sounds like something that might be worth me looking at upgrading.
Yeah, this basically takes, if you're familiar with the online ways of being able to bring it into OBS, where you would actually have somebody go to a website and you'd bring that panelist in as an HTTP type input. And that is I'm trying to remember the OBS Ninja, which I think is now Video Ninja, is the product that I'm thinking of, which is free, which is they allow you, it's basically using the streaming technology called WebRTC. And the basically you're just going to the browser, and it then sends the audio to the location. And Lois, you got your hand raised because I have this feeling you're going to ask audio questions with this one. Go for it.
So if I understand you correctly, if you have this Rode 2 and somebody else has a Rode 2, you can connect directly to each other and do an interview. Is it only one person to one person, or is this something where if David also had the Rode 2 that you could get a threesome going, or is it just one to one?
Right now, from my understanding, it's you can only bring in one as one input into the, so it actually will take up a fader on the actual Rodecaster Pro 2. I don't know which fader it replaces. Johnny, were you playing with
you
it
can
at all?
assign it, I believe, if I remember
Okay.
correctly. And
So
just to
Sure.
give a little bit more clarification, when we say it's one Rodecaster to another Rodecaster, if you've got 2 or 3 people on each end, those 2 or 3 people should go through, and it should mix minus what you send through to the other end, so that you don't get echoes and all that sort of thing. So I don't believe you can use more than 2 units, one unit talking to another, but I believe you can have multiple people on those units and still have a conversation.
And John, then the remote unit ends up being assigned to a fader on your unit. You have
Exactly.
control
You can
of their
assign a fader. You assign
overall
one of your
input,
faders.
but you can't control the individual inputs from there. That has to happen on the other end.
Correct. You've got
Okay.
one fader. So if there's one person coming in, you'd have control of that one person, but you don't have control if there's multiple people. You're just getting one audio signal in.
The full mix. Yeah, cool.
But there's nothing in what they said that suggested you couldn't have multiple people. In fact, it's hint. They didn't say specifically, but they hinted that you could have a group of people and you have a conversation, and it would make sense that it's just sending the audio over of what everybody's been saying. But as far as replacing Zoom is concerned, I would say if you don't need the video and you just want pure audio, then obviously having a simpler connection is going to be better in a lot of cases. Less bandwidth, less things to go wrong, etc. As far as the quality of the audio is concerned, well, there are some thresholds and levels and everything like that that you can set on the Rode, but it doesn't have the intelligence of the background noise removal things that Zoom has. So I wouldn't use it just to replace the Zoom audio.
Right. And just to clarify what John's talking about on that is that you're limited to the functionalities of that channel that the Rodecaster Pro 2, allows you to do. So if you could play with the EQ, compressor, limiter, gate, yes, you have that capability of that fader, just like you do on any of the other faders on there. But above and beyond that, no, you don't have any other quality stuff. Go ahead, Les.
So it sounds like this is a technology of gear you already have, and ooh, isn't it cool that it can do this new thing? How does this compare to? So, for example, if I wanted to have a bunch of people talking together, let's say I got 5 people, 10 people, whatever, and I didn't need video, I would probably still use a Zoom meeting and just have them turn off their cameras, and because the audio is what I understand and what I've done. But what about having just a conference call? You can set up a conference call with a lot of people, and wouldn't that work just as well?
Yeah,
The
certainly.
well, sure, but the big selling feature that they are doing for is that the technology that they're actually using is actually technology that's been around for over a year. From what I've seen in the looking into the background, who Rode is actually partnered with for this technology. So they're just basically adding this. They added this functionality that's already been existing for months now into the firmware of the unit, and it's because of the fact that the unit has Ethernet and Wi-Fi capabilities of the unit that allows them to be able to bring people in. Where the original unit that they have, which Ray Harwood you have, does not have Ethernet or Wi-Fi capabilities. That's what they ended up adding in the newer version Pro 2 and the Duo unit. Go ahead, Robert.
But I'm more excited about the fact that this upgrade allows you to remotely control the unit and set the audio settings remotely, because then if you have a guest and you send him a piece of equipment, you can actually set it up for him without him having to twiddle on the knobs, press the wrong knobs, end up in Timbuktu and not knowing how to come back to where he's meant to be. So I think for me, from a production point of view, that's the most exciting part about this. I think it's called Call Me or something like that. That's the new product. Yeah. And that gives you you can enable someone else to take control over that piece of equipment and then set up your audio. And that sounds exciting. Just the audio part, not the video part.
Yeah, that part I didn't know about, that you can that it gives remote control. I'm looking into that right now.
Alex actually talked about it on office hours early this week. I think it was on Tuesday.
Yeah, the moratorium for this coming out was Tuesday morning.
I'm not sure why this would be helpful if you have Zoom.
It would not. They're looking to where this will benefit is the people that right now that are doing audio only podcasts that are using Zoom, that have to route the Zoom back into the Rodecaster Pro 2 or any Rodecaster, and then be able to record the audio that way. What the good thing about this is that it allows you to, if I remember correctly too, and again, I didn't get into a lot of the specifics of this because the controlling, I didn't know was there, and I'm still trying to find out if that's actually true. And I'm in the user guide right now. Is the one thing that I do know that does happen is it will allow you to the way that it functions is that it automatically records. So this is something that Lois has talked about doing her show, where you have them record locally and she's also recording herself locally. Then you eventually put it together. That is happening with this technology, as well as the host does get the live copy sent to them as well. So just in case there is a hiccup, nothing is lost. I've got to find where that functionality was in there too.
So just to clarify, Mike, I'm not taking two separate recordings, one out there and one on my computer, and trying to put them together. When I record on my computer, there is an option that says, in addition to the recording, I want you to give me a separate recording of each individual. And so when you look at it on your computer, there's a little folder there that has all the isolated recordings of every person, and they are totally synced and they're totally ready. So it's very simple. It's not at all complicated trying to get something from here and something from here.
Right. Go ahead, Johnny.
Just been looking at the documentation as well and as I understand it, you cannot control the other unit at the other end.
Right.
But what you can do is you can set the noise gate levels and all the other levels on your own device as you would any other input from the audio. So you can control them that way. But there's no hint anywhere that you can remote control the other device. So if you had 3 or 4 people at the other end, you'd only be able to control them as a group. If you have one person at the other end, then yes, you've got the ability to control what's coming in.
Yeah. And Lois, going back to your answer too, I did look up here quickly and it's not a 1-to-1. I'm reading in the documentation, it says multi-guest support, 3 call me channels. So officially then you can actually have, besides yourself being local, you could actually have 3 remote call me people, not necessarily needing the physical hardware either. Again, you could have them log into a Rode branded website and put in the code credential, which I can, David, I don't know if you are looking at the user guide as well. There is some good screenshots on there. I will put it for everybody in chat, and I will also.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up.
Yep, there it is. There it is in chat here, and for the YouTube audience, there it is over there too. So that's what I'm reading right now currently, and this is in the.
Is this what you're looking at from the website?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Excuse me.
And if you scroll down, David, you'll actually see the different.
Yeah.
There's the subscriptions that I was talking about, the 3 different ones. The regular Call Me is the one that the Call Me Lite is free, and then you get the 5-hour trial. Basically, that gives you 5 hours a month.
I don't understand. Maybe John can help. I don't really understand the lingo here about like. Oh, there is Zoom integration.
Yeah, at the pro level.
I wonder what that means. What do you think that means?
I will look because that's going to be probably more at the actual people that they're teaming up with to do this service. So I'll dig around on that.
Yeah. You can call me for calls. Call options. Let's see. This roadcaster can be joined at other call options. I don't understand what all this the extra fancy audio stuff means, but is it worth?
Sure. The technology that you had up there, David, it's related. They're basically utilizing a lot of VoIP technologies. So you'll see a lot of references to Opus G77722, G711. Those are codecs that are normally used in the VoIP world for very clear quality, but yet very low bandwidth phone calls.
Gotcha.
And that's what it would actually look like when somebody's actually connecting, is what David's showing. And then that is, you see that 6-digit code / QR code? That's what you give your remote people so they can connect.
So they go to callme.rode.com. Gotcha. And they put that in. Let's just callme.rode.com. See what that interface looks like. Oh, simple.
Yeah.
Let's put in that code, see what happens. 6L5MNK. 6L5. What was it? MNK.
And you can reset your code if you feel that you've just shared it on YouTube and everybody's going to call you later.
I'm
Yes.
not sure what's going to happen here, but let's. Oh, unavailable.
Hey, you're
Yeah.
road bombing. You're gonna get banned.
I'm road bombing. Yeah.
That's the best.
Yeah. Okay.
So David, that was the example of, you did a perfect example of, so that is how easy it is for a panelist to connect up if they don't even have the physical unit.
That's great. And you can see actually in the way that they've designed the page that this is mobile. This is mobile first, I think. Because this, I mean, this is
Mobile
exactly-
friendly. It has the capabilities. Yeah.
I mean, this, not, but no, what I'm saying is that, I mean, this is the size of a mobile device. Like this, I mean, I can pull it up on my, let me pull it up. What was it? Call me dot something dot road dot whatever. Hold on. Callme dot road.com. Let's see. All right, it's coming up. I just want to see if it, because it looks like, which makes sense. They're assuming that many people will be calling in from their phone, which, I mean, that makes perfect sense. Let's see what we got here.
And what I've just put in chat, and I'll put it in YouTube chat momentarily, is the actual company in the background that Rode is actually teaming with, that actually has the
Right.
Call Me functionality. The company is called Vortex Communications
Uh-oh.
Limited.
Oh, there we go.
Mike, I guess I'm not understanding what this has to do with Zoom.
David brought up that there was this new.
Oh, gosh, Mimi Bobini. No, I asked the question because it is offering a service like what Zoom offers, and so I was curious if if there's a connection.
Yeah, and again, there is a little bit of a connection, but you have to have their pro account, and that's more focused at broadcasters and radio stations and such that would usually get the pro account.
Yeah.
Because again, the Vortex company that made the technology in the first place, that is their focus, is the broadcast industry. So they've come up with this. So Rode, the Call Me functionality is actually owned by Vortex. So it's Rode Call Me, but the Call Me trademark is actually belongs to Vortex, the company.
And are they using Debbie Harry as their theme song?
Are they using Debbie Harry?
What's Debbie Harry?
The singer.
Call me.
It's a pretty famous song from the 70s.
I'm sorry.
Wait a minute. Ray Franklin's laughing. Tell us, Ray. You got the joke?
Someone can you hear this for me? Can you hear that? You can.
Yes.
Sorry, because in the middle of this whole road conversation, I updated my road and I wasn't sure. It kind of broke everything.
I thought
That
you were
was
going to play
Jeopardy
guitar.
officially.
I thought you were going to play your guitar and do your Debbie Harry rendition of "Call Me."
Sorry. Call me a line you can. Is that it?
That's Blondie, but that's not it. That's all right. House
Ray,
Memphis in the house.
Ray, I
Go ahead.
think
Debbie
only
Harry
a
is
few of us
Blondie.
that are old enough to remember Debbie Harry.
Okay, so look how many people have their hands up just to get me to shut up and stop singing. Lois, Hasmuk, Tony, go.
Okay. So that whole road thing was really cool, but on Zoom, somebody was saying they have a phone. They're going to use a Zoom phone and not have a phone. And it's like, how can you function without your iPhone, man? It is so much more than a phone. But here's my question. If you had Zoom phones, which I've never used and I'm not, real familiar with, could you do a multiple phone call or is it one-on-one?
Lois, Zoom phone lives on your iPhone. There's no separate phone unless you're talking about a desk phone. It lives on your phone. It lives on my, not just on your special iPhone, but also on my Google Pixel 8. I don't carry a separate phone. I have Zoom phone located on it. And it
So-
rings and it deals just like a regular phone, but it's an IP phone.
It's
Okay,
just a
so
VoIP provider.
If you have, you can have a phone without having a device, you can have it on your computer, I assume. Yeah.
Yes.
So if I have it on my computer, why couldn't I just make a conference call with all the people I want to have on my meeting, and we wouldn't get video, but we'd get the audio, and it's over Zoom. Would it be as high quality audio as the audio portion of a Zoom call?
If two capabilities of the conference call would be that the conference call audio system would have to be able to be recordable, and B, now you are limited to the conference call providers' capabilities of their configuration of the VoIP conference room, because there are many different flavors. So your quality of audio may be the same as Zoom, but may be inferior to Zoom.
So
And that
you're,
it's
so
would
you're
need some
saying
testing.
that you're saying that Zoom is not actually making you connected. It isn't like a Zoom meeting without video. It's just you're making a phone call, right?
Right. The Zoom phone technology, the Zoom phone product, as a Zoom phone product, is an equivalent to what we would call nowadays a VoIP phone product.
So does Zoom have something where you can have a Zoom meeting or webinar and record the audio and throw away the video? Does Zoom have that function?
Yeah.
Sure.
So in the Zoom cloud, you can record your audio and your video and just choose not to use your video and delete it.
Is the quality of the audio recording on the Zoom cloud recording as good as it is on record to my computer? I know the video's not, but is the audio as good?
That's a complicated question. Your local audio from your own microphone is going to sound the best, but your colleagues or friends or whatever on the other side of the Zoom meeting are still coming through the internet. Depends on bandwidth. It depends on their microphones, their computer, so many other factors.
Right,
Right.
but all of that stuff goes into Zoom and then is sent to me to record on my computer or is sent to the cloud to record on the cloud. So the actual recording of it on the computer or the cloud, is there a degradation in one or the other?
The cloud is better, in my view, because in the cloud, Lois, you can select all the audio channels to be separated. So if we talk
That's
over
not an
each
answer
other,
about quality, though. That's a different.
So I have
Well,
that
metric
on my
you're using.
computer too.
There-
well,
there's-
quality if we
there's-
talk over each other is just cutting everybody off. Just to give an example, sorry.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I just think you're
That's-
comparing apples and oranges. She's asking about quality.
Well, that's a quality issue for me.
I can have separate recordings on my computer.
No, you
Let me, can I
can't.
jump in real quickly and say that the, here, let me get my, and say that the quality of what's recorded is always excellent compared to what the device received. And what it's going to receive from your microphone on your computer is very, very high quality. And whatever it might receive over the internet from other people or over the VoIP system, which is typically transferred over the internet, may not be as high quality. The recording on your computer will be very, very true to what it received. So when you're talking about quality, you really want to know about end-to-end quality versus, does my computer really record exactly what it hears? And the answer is yes. And it might hear garbage from someone who's talking over a cell phone in Timbuktu.
And if they hear garbage from the cell phone, wouldn't the cloud recording also hear garbage from the cell
Yes.
phone?
Yes.
So there's no difference between recording it, a Zoom recording on the cloud and on my computer.
I disagree.
You disagree? Okay, why?
It depends if you're talking. A lot of people use Zoom as a screen recording tool where they're not having a conversation with anyone else. They're
Right.
just recording their own microphone, their own screen.
Yeah.
If you record that to your computer hard drive, that's probably going to sound the best.
Right.
The minute it has to leave your computer and go over the internet and get to Zoom servers, it's going to get compressed and a bunch of other things. The other side of the situation is even if you record locally to your computer and your friend is in another city or down the street, it's going over the internet, it's going to get compressed, there's other factors. And the other thing we said about ISO recordings is that in the Zoom cloud, it'll make an isolated recording of every single person's audio. You can't really do that from a Zoom call onto your own personal computer.
But
So
it appears every time I do it. I always have a folder with everybody's recording.
Phone call is what he's talking about.
Yeah. Anyways.
You talk about, what'd you say, Ray?
He's talking about a phone call, and I think you're equating call to a meeting.
I'm talking
meeting,
about a
you can-
Zoom call, a meeting. A
Zoom meeting, yes.
Yeah. And that, because that's the only thing that I can record locally or in the cloud. That's the options you have when you say record.
But I think on a Zoom cloud recording of a Zoom meeting, you can get 100 isolated channels of audio. I don't think you can do that locally on your own personal computer.
I see what the difference is. You're talking about real life, real time, isolated channels of audio. I'm talking about once it's recorded, I then have a recording of everyone's voice. And it isn't real time. It's not something I can plug into some other output or mess with real time. It's a recording.
So for a big part of my life, I was a video editor. And if I had all of you people in isolated video shots, I want your isolated audio so that when I go to do the video editing, I can clean up each person's audio because your microphone might be hot and someone else's might be low and someone might, whatever. That's what the Zoom cloud allows you to do. They allow you to make, I think, up to 100 isolated voice recordings of the meeting participants, which gives an editor all kinds of advantages, or even podcasters. A podcaster would want the same flexibility.
So you're talking real time rather than recorded?
No, I'm talking about a recording. So after the meetings,
I have a recording on my.
Do you have 100 isolated
I don't use
feeds of the participants?
But I have 20.
Okay, well that's great. I don't know the limit on a local computer.
I don't either. Okay, I think I'm done with my talk. Why don't we jump over to Hasmukh there?
Over to you,
Yes,
Hasma.
hi. Yes, hi, evening. I had a meeting with somebody in government today, and they brought in another participant, Read AI. And at the end of the meeting, I assume Read AI automatically sent something that we use with Zoom AI, summary and steps, and it was fairly detailed compared to Zoom AI in terms of meeting summary. But what I was intrigued by is that my office was the host, and the government person was a participant, but we gave them share options to be able to share the screen. But this AI that they used and the summary it sent, it had a recording of the meeting as well. So we were recording the meeting on our side as a record, but this AI had a recording, and this AI, I see is an add-on in Marketplace in Zoom. It also captured the recording. So I was just intrigued by the fact that a AI app could record the meeting when the participant in that meeting did not have host or co-host options.
It's a huge security problem.
It's probably a screen scrape.
There's
I
lots
don't
of
wanna-
There's lots of third-party meeting bots that go to Zoom meetings and Teams meetings and everything else. And then there's a growing backlash that if you don't use the tools that are built into Zoom, you can't join the meeting. Many institutions are saying you can only use the approved meeting bots that we have a relationship with, and if you try to join with a third-party meeting bot, we won't let you join the meeting.
But they
But
do have a
Frank-
relationship with this one because it's in the marketplace.
It's in the marketplace. Yeah,
You can-
Yes, but it's the way it works that is what concerns me as a developer.
It scrapes your calendar.
This product existed before a lot of the tools that have been released by Zoom. And what it does is it
Correct.
listens to the audio and watches the video and records it that way. Just as you could, get a screen
Correct.
recorder and
Correct.
record this meeting without anybody
Exactly.
knowing. And
Exactly.
that's why it's a security risk.
Yeah.
Mm.
I usually blow it away if I'm the host.
Yeah, a lot of people do, and there's been a lot of demand by Zoom consumers to make it easier to block these things. You can put in a request with Zoom support to block the domains that these things come from. But growingly, there's a lot of backlash. There's different Zoom products, like Zoom meeting products for government, for healthcare, for people who do investing and stuff in banking, and none of this would pass any of their needs or requirements. And the way a lot of these tools work is you, the user, either knowingly or unknowingly agree to sign up for one of these third-party meeting bot services. It then reads all your calendar invitations. It collects all the invitations. It uses your credentials, and it joins the meeting and poses sort of as you using your credentials. And then, a lot of the companies or hosts I just talked about of the meetings would say, oh, I guess that's you, but really they find out after the fact it wasn't you, and then they're very upset that you've breached their privacy and security situation.
How do you
So-
know that it's a
so-
real person or a bot?
Well, that's what's going to be my next question, because Peter said if he sees that, he blows it away. So I'm just trying to figure out which fan he switches on to do that. I suspect that the bot comes in as a participant in the meeting, so we
Right.
saw that.
Right.
And as a host, you could probably remove that participant out of the meeting.
You
That's
can.
exactly what I do, Hasmuth.
And
I
that's the
block
way-
it. And first time I saw it,
Yeah.
I blocked it.
Yeah, yeah.
Fathom does the same thing. There are a bunch of these tools.
Firefly, there's a bunch of them. But what a lot of people are doing now is forcing people to register for the meeting and turning on authentication. And also, there's a setting in Zoom where you have to do a CAPTCHA. And I'm sure the bots will figure it out if they haven't already. The programmers will figure out how to do that part too. But it's a big problem.
Yeah, initially I was quite excited by that. This is a real cool tool. And but the point being that if you want to read this report, that this thing is sent by your participant, you have to sign up to read. And then the sign up process will not proceed if you don't give access to your
That's
calendar.
right. It's almost like a virus or malware.
Yeah, I mean, it's
So what happens is after one person has this and joins your meeting, all the other people in the meeting will probably get an email or notification that looks like
Exactly.
it's coming from that person. It's happened to me, saying, "Hey, I've got all these great meeting transcripts and things. Would you like access to them? Click on this link." And then you click on the link, and then it asks you to give it permission. Then it installs itself. You may not even know it installed itself into your computer. Then it scrapes your calendar, and then it propagates like a computer virus.
That's exactly what happened, because the summary or the report came from the government official's email address. So I just clicked it and opened it, and well, somebody who's not astute enough could very well go into a spiral here.
I don't understand how a government official was able to install. Okay.
No. Go
Was
on. Go
able
on.
to
I mean,
install an app like that. I mean, on,
yeah.
I don't, the marketplace, I would have to guess, is not available on .gov Zoom accounts. I would have to assume.
Lots of government officials, including in the place I live, break all the government rules and use their personal devices.
Oh.
And some of them do it because they're just tech illiterate, and some of them are doing it to get around accountability and freedom of information requests.
Right.
Somebody I
some of
know
them-
has a university account, and it shows up on the university account. He says, I don't know how to get rid of it.
And some of them probably were in a situation where they were in a meeting, they got sent an email, said, you want to look at the stuff, agreed, got in there and
And now it follows them.
unknowingly made it.
You know what, Lois, you're right. I've had more than a few people jump into meetings and I say, hey, is that your Fireflies or is that your Fathom or whatever? And they say, I don't even know. So I think you're absolutely right about that, Lois. Yeah.
How do you get rid of it if you accidentally get it on your computer? And is it Mac or Windows or internet specific? Anything?
Well, it's not a program that you download. It's just something you sign up for that you give credentials to.
I went down that rabbit hole. So then I simply went in and it allows you to delete your accounts. So I deleted my account.
The different third-party meeting bots, some of them are very hard to get rid of. You have to understand which calendar it's installed itself into, how your calendar permissions work, and they don't make it easy to figure it out. There's a lot of hoops you have to jump through to get it uninstalled.
Like Kaspersky.
Tony, you want to jump in?
Ooh. I have, I have a lot. So the first question I have is, David, why do you have a Rode device in your chain? What was the reason for it?
I have a Rodecaster Pro 2. Why do I have it in my chain? I have it in my chain because I have, really for three reasons. First reason is because of gas. But the second reason is that I have three computers that are all that I wanted to be able to mix the sound from into a Zoom meeting. So I have sound on two devices. And so that's the second reason. And the third reason is that I sometimes play guitar and sing at the same time. And so I needed just a little mixer to be able to mix those two signals.
Another reason you might want, Tony, is if you've got multiple, like let's say you want to have a bunch of people in a meeting or something, but you're all local, and then let's say like a podcast, then you can hook up multiple microphones through this thing like an audio mixer instead of trying to hook up 4 USB mics directly to your computer.
Tony, I think one important thing is you can also use the wireless Rode mics on some of these units. I think it's the Rodecaster 2, the Pro 2. So if you have wireless, then you can just link them straight in. You don't need any other device for that.
Right. So when I have someone else in my office, actually, someone sitting on the other side there, I take one of the Rode wireless Go's. I got the handheld thingamajigger, and I just it automatically connects to the Rodecaster Pro. So it's
sorry, David, that was me. I was trying to let somebody in. Somebody beat me to it.
You're fired. It's very this piece of it is really it's quite convenient. It's great.
Okay. The other question I had, and maybe this might have to be pushed to later, is the house of worship that I work with is having another event on the 5th Sunday of August. We had an event on the 5th Sunday in June. It was kind of a last minute thing, and I did the best job I could in terms of providing. I didn't really provide very much support, but this is what I did. We had a MacBook Pro on site, and I guess I give you the scenario. This is an outside event. We are in the process of building a new building, but as we are working on getting the building built, we have made the decision that on the fifth Sundays of each month, we try to do an event on the grounds where the church will be built. Their old sanctuary was on this location. At the last minute, they wanted to do a Zoom in-person hybrid event. No budget, no equipment. And so what I said was, I knew that there were 2 iPhones on site that were going to be on site. I asked that they use one iPhone as the principal camera and one iPhone as the microphone. There was a MacBook Pro on site and a large USB speaker. So we did the traditional Zoom meeting. The iPhone that was the camera was connected to, came into the meeting, and that's what we did. And it was okay. I mean, it got the job done using the microphone, the iPhone as a camera and then as a microphone. Of course, I was not happy with it. I was very disappointed. From this standpoint, you could not see. It was a bright sunny day, but because of the age of the iPhone that was used as the camera, you were not able to see the faces of the participants. And another thing was that it was, the audio was not horrible, but there was definitely need for improvement. So this month, I'm trying to get ahead of it. There is going to be another outside event. It's only an hour on the grounds. Early in the morning, 1 hour. What do you suggest? What could I do based on what I have to try to make it better? And if that's something that needs to be talked about later, that's fine. But I just wanted to put that out there because I think I might be the only one that's concerned, but I just feel like if you are going to do it, personally, I think that it should just be a recording and just leave it at that. But they are insisting on wanting it to be a hybrid event so that those people who can't make it can at least see what's going on. And there is a significant number of people who are not going to be able to make it. So I understand that point, but the other side of that is, well, if it's a recording, they watch it later instead of us trying to make it a hybrid event. But based on what I've shared, and if you need to ask me some questions, please do. But I would like to try to make it better.
So we got Lois and Frank.
So first, I got a couple questions, Tony. When you say it's a hybrid meeting, is this a one-way, like preacher to congregation type situation, or is this a circle of folks who are all talking to each other? Is it a one-way thing? It's the preacher to congregation?
Well, no, it's really not like a traditional service. It's really more like a praise service. So you have 4 people sitting at a table.
Okay.
And they're making comments. There's testimony. There's interaction among the 4 people that are sitting behind the table, and then there are chairs that are facing them, and the iPhone and the MacBook and the speaker are to the side. It's not behind,
Okay.
or in front. It's on the side.
Okay, so thank you. That clarifies a little bit so that I interpret that to mean that you do not need to have a large monitor showing the people at home on a screen that people in the room can see because everybody's focused on the table. They're not focused on each other. Is that true?
Right. Everybody's
Okay,
looking at the table.
so
The table
so
is the focus.
so you are only worried about capturing those four people to show to the folks at home. You're not worried about capturing the audience. There's no audience interaction with the people at home. So that makes it much simpler. And I think what you did, what you described, sounds like a very simple, clear way of doing things. And so I would simply suggest if your phone didn't get a good shot because you were at an angle, maybe figure out a place to put the phone to get a better shot. But it sounds like you did really well with what you had.
Thank you.
Frank, you want to jump in?
A little bit. Hybrid's the hardest, worst thing to do. It takes the most skill, the most equipment. I would try one of these, a no stakes version of what you're going to do in advance, and see if you get the results you're hoping for. Recording's always easier if you don't have to worry about bi-directional things. You could always just stream it to YouTube as a private stream and tell people the stream code or whatever. But put the phone on a tripod, have proper lighting, have good audio, all the basics of television broadcasting, except for this particular purpose.
Yeah, Tony, I know you've been looking at me and I've been giving you some interesting looks, and I'm thinking to myself, my usual question when I was doing this full time back in the day from my clients would be, so what's the budget? Because there would be this configuration to an elaborate configuration that looks like you should be on broadcast television. So and the price will vary depending on the amount of functionality required by the client and the amount of, let's put it this way, flexibility that is needed by the AV company that is dealing with this type of event. What I'm hearing from you so far is that everybody's at a table. I'm going to assume it's a banquet table. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. If not, that would definitely be a suggestion to get a little better of a camera angle so that you would just be shooting some four people sitting behind a banquet table that is facing the crowd or the people that are joining you at the location. To have a speaker, I would be concerned about the type of speaker because you mentioned USB, and usually USB speakers are not very loud. And because you are outdoors compared to being indoors, the amount of audio that you would need properly for an outdoor type of event increases versus an indoor event because of just room acoustics, and you're in the elements because you have to be louder than anything else that is in your surroundings at that particular point. When it comes to microphones, of course, it would be best if on a low end, everybody's sharing one mic. On a high end, everybody has their own mic. So that would be, again, variant on the amount of money that would, if you were sending this out to tender for people to bid on, they would be asking these type of questions as well. So that would be the basics of that. Now on the video portion of it, of course, what kind of internet connection do you have at the outdoor space that you're at? Is the AV company then forced to 3G, 4G, 5G versus is there an actual true internet connection there? Obviously, the church is currently under construction.
There is no AV company. It's me just trying to figure it out because they've asked me to try to, there is no budget, and they asked me, to try to figure things out. And as I said, the last time it was sort of, a couple of days before. So now I have this whole month to try to improve it, and that's and that's what I'm trying to do. One of the things that I was thinking about was, and you guys tell me if I'm just totally off base with this. So the principal person who actually runs the House of Worship Zoom services is on a MacBook Pro only. And there have been times in the past that different things have happened, and because she is sharing PowerPoint or whatever she might be doing, there are things that are happening in the meeting that she doesn't see. And what I was thinking was that it might be to her advantage to get a basic iPad, bring that into the meeting, and then she would be able to see what was going on in the meeting. But also in a case where we have events like this particular event, that would be another pair of eyes or a camera that could also support what's going on the land where we're having the service. And I think even a basic new iPad would be a better camera than the options that we have on the phones that they're currently using.
I'm not sure about the iPad camera, but Lois, go ahead.
So, Tony, it's a one-way situation. It isn't like you're
Not
going to
not really,
have
Lois.
speakers
So
coming back to the people on the table. You're
so
not going to
this
have people at home coming in, are you?
no, there is no, well, the last time at the end of the service, they did ask people in Zoom, did they want to make any comments or anything. So
Okay.
we would have come through the speaker
So
to them that were
if
there.
if you need to have the people at home talking to the people out in the room, then you're going to have to deal with a large enough monitor that they can be seen. You're going to need to have a speaker pointed out from Zoom. See, I thought you were talking about at home, I get to absorb it, but I don't have to participate. If I don't have to participate, then you're cool. But if I do have to participate, then talk to me outside, and I can give you some tips from what we've done because we have a two-way thing. When you're talking right now about what to use, you have lots of people in your congregation. Hopefully, someone has a new iPhone. That the camera on the new iPhone is probably better than anything you could get for a little webcam or something like that. And it's portable and it has its own power supply, etc. It's only for an hour. It is wonderful. That I think that is great. Now, as far as the audio goes, if you are if you are not happy with the audio you have, then you might want to get an external mic. You have lots of mics. Get one of your old external mics and see if you can get an adapter so that it can plug into an iPhone and use that to capture it and go into Zoom. I think that for the Zoom participants enjoying this, it would be useful if you had someone who is not sitting in the meeting turn on your Zoom meet, not sitting in outside, but turn on the Zoom meeting and be the host of the Zoom meeting and take care of dealing with the Zoom business. You all know Tamra Pika, who's in this group sometimes. And she came and she was my Zoom tech support for an event that we did. And it really helped because that meant that everyone who was part of the church didn't have to have any worries about the Zoom part. So anyway, I think I'm talking a little too much, but yeah, if you've got to have a feedback, then you've got a whole nother set of situation to deal with.
Frank, go ahead.
Oh, I think Lois covered a lot of it, but I mean, iPhones will need power. How are you going to manage the power? If you're going to run power, then you've got to have maybe extension cords. Then you have to figure a way to keep people from tripping. We use cable mats in the industry, or you can probably get a big external one of those batteries that goes on the back. But then when you do that, the phone might get hot, the phone might overheat. There's all kinds, like, there's a reason professionals don't do the things the way you're talking about, which I understand isn't something you have the ability to do. But I would do a test. I would test everything on a no stakes situation and try to emulate everything you want to accomplish. Same amount of time, same equipment you're going to use on the real day, and see what fails and find ways to fix it before you do it live. And you don't want to failure live. You want to do it in the rehearsal so that you can fix it before the thing happens.
Yeah, Robert and Mark and Mike.
Tony, I feel for you because I can see you're really being torn apart here. But one of the things I'd like to caution you about, if you do bring in additional pieces of equipment, especially if you've got open mics and you have a big speaker there, you'll get a feedback loop. And it'll mess things up really bad. So you need to be very, very conscious of the fact that if you're using Zoom in the setup that you're using, you should only bring the audio in through one computer and take it out from that very same computer to that big speaker you have. And then Zoom will handle all of the minuses and you won't get any feedback loop. As soon as you bring additional phones in and someone turns the mic on, it's going to pick up everything, send it around through the speaker, and it'll just go crazy. So you need to control the amount of equipment that you have in there. The second thing that I'd really be careful, conscious of, is if you've got a lot of people there and you've got a lot of equipment and you're all using mobile data, then the local station where you're at, your phones are connecting to, that can literally get blocked up, especially when there are a lot of people there who have their phones and have their data enabled on their phones. It'll get clogged up and you streaming will start having drops and problems and issues there. So limiting the amount of equipment you have that is in that system of production that you're putting together is actually important, because the more you get, the more problems you'll have with connectivity. So I'd be very, very careful with that, unless you have someone who can go and test it. But even testing is tricky because you don't have all of the participants there who've come, or the congregation there, who also have phones. So it's really difficult to simulate a situation that you can test without going live. But for my 2 cents would be, if I were to do that, I would take that MacBook Pro, which has the best camera, the best microphones on it, stick it on the table and have all 4 people sitting in front of there and speaking into it, and have the presentations put out through a separate machine. And that would be something you borrow, a laptop or something, just so that you don't get into all of the difficulties of audio feedback. And that MacBook Pro will have a good camera and good microphone, so it should give you your basics. The only thing you'll have is all 4 people on the screen at the same time.
Yeah, and actually this audio question is actually coming from YouTube, from Tulloch. Hello, Tulloch on YouTube. He's asking Tony, why separate the audio from the camera? This is going back to Tony saying that he was using 2 iPhones, one for video and one for audio.
The phone that is used as the microphone is, for all intents and purposes, being passed around by the 4 speakers. So when each speaker is speaking, they're handed the phone. And so the camera's not on. It's in the Zoom meeting, but it's only being used as the microphone. And so that's why it's not stationary. And so that's why we were using it that way. I mean, that's what I thought of. You know, I didn't have access to microphones, so I was trying to make it work, and that's why I did it that way.
Peter.
Well, I guess, Tony, I do something similar about once a month for my local Scout Council. But you'd be surprised how well, on at least on the newer MacBooks, the internal mic picks things up. You'd be absolutely shocked. You can be 10 feet away and people will hear you clearly from that mic. And the point of like saying that is, if you and I also have my remote audience on a TV screen plugged into the HDMI port on that same laptop. The audio is going out through a wired speaker from that laptop to give it a little bit more oomph. And the mic is going into that way. Zoom controls everything, and you will never get feedback because it will automatically mute the other end while you're talking, while somebody at your end is talking. And if somebody at that end is talking, it'll come through the TV just fine. The TV speakers work. And that's what I do. I mean, so I'd say just a simple back to test that kind of setup out, and it will work quite well, to be quite honest. Now, I will also point out that, and I know Robert's seen it. I sometimes go overboard, and I do have regular microphones going into that really nice Pixis camera that is then connected to my MacBook as its camera. And that, but it's still, the audio is going through the MacBook.
So Tony, I'm still stuck on the do you need two-way things. I hear you say that sometimes the people on Zoom will be asked if they want to give a message or have a question or something like that. And you know, we can always go really low tech. Have someone on the ground and out, you're outdoors, who has a earbuds into their own phone, and they're in the Zoom meeting, which means that they can see and hear and do all that sort of stuff. And then if somebody in Zoom has a question, they can answer it. And this person can go, well, Mary said she wondered what color to paint the building, or, you know, whatever the question is. You can have a human being in there taking care of that. Then you don't have to worry about having a speaker loud enough to let everybody hear it out in the outdoors, which is always really challenging. And you don't have to have a big monitor or anything like that because you got a human there. So I always go low tech. Bye.
You got
Thank
enough
you
to
all.
chew on, Tony?
I have enough to chew on.
All right.
Thank you.
Hey, have we talked about Zoomtopia?
Many times.
We did talk about it last week, yes. And I did not send David any of the AI summary from the
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm just wondering if they're like running for office or something. Like,
wow,
people? That sounds like a political thing.
Oh, for in the main keynote, David. Is that what you meant?
Maybe they're being clever like Apple. A lot of Apple's keynote sessions, everyone tries to decode what the title means. It's usually a hint about a new service or product.
Right. So for the people, I wonder what that'll be. This is
it's 4K. We're getting 4K video.
Zoomtopia chat agent. It's interesting. I don't know what that is.
You too can have your own AI bot for Zoomtopia.
Yeah, I guess so.
Zoom's getting into the agentic thing too, right?
John Baptiste is going. That's cool.
Yeah, he's going to be performing live.
Oh, and Sal Khan. Interesting. I don't know if you saw, by the way, that OpenAI now has a study and learn mode, which is looks to me at least very much like it was not copied but borrowed from Khanmigo from Khan Academy. Except that at the end, it will just give you the answer if you really push it. I wonder what Sal's going to bring to Zoom.
I hope it's better than last year. The whole thing's so contrived and quite boring, really. I'm more interested in the product announcements than having a bunch of important people at the company stand on stage and sort of brag or whatever. Like Eric Yuan, I don't find him a compelling speaker at all. But I know from my time, I used to shoot commercials for people, and sometimes owners of companies want to be on camera so desperately, but they're hurting their brand because they're not good at it. Like you'd be better off hiring a professional actor or just showing your product. But it's what the Fortune 500 crowd seems to do, right?
I already am registered. I'm not sure why this isn't showing me.
It was interesting for me too, David. I registered to get notified, and then they changed it on me within a day after John was letting me know about that too. We heard about it last Wednesday, and then on Thursday, they actually launched it that you could actually register depending on where your location is.
I'm not sure why it's making me do it again. But here, I'll put all my information in so you can all call me whenever you want, email me and stuff.
You're way braver than I am.
You know what? I got nothing.
I think the star of the show should be the new products and services.
Yeah.
And I think it's a bit of a vanity thing to have all these important people stand on stage and deliver their product speeches.
But we have to know that Zoom was born out of Eric's love affair. So here I am. See, this is exactly what I did last time. It says, view our sessions and current agenda here. And then it brings me here. Or I guess you have to click up here.
David, log in without showing us, of course, into the event portal. It might give you more info in there. That's where I saw.
Well, let's look up here. Featured speaker, session track. I see here the session track. So
yeah, we had talked about this last week because for the different locations, they actually just had the session tracks, but yet for the Americas, they actually divided it out into different section and different topics.
this is kind of cool how they structured this. Who is it for, what you'll hear, and what you'll learn. I kind of like this. The who's it for. That's kind of nice actually, because like I know that IT admins focus on security. Like, okay, that's not for me. That's not my thing. That's really interesting. Oh, here we go. See if you know. It's I don't know. It's just it's strange because it says register to see track session details, but I am registered. So you want me to go to events?
You have to be registered and logged in.
Yeah, but there's nowhere to log in on that page. I don't see anywhere to log in. That's what I was looking for.
Click on the register now and see if it assumes that you were logged in.
No, it brings me down here, and then if I click on that, it takes me right back here, which I've filled out 3 times now. There are going to be 3 of me coming. Let me try and get into. I don't even know if I'm. Oh, no, that's not it. So how do I log out now? Exit lobby. Here we go. Sign in. Okay. No way it's going to make me do that thing. Really annoying, but I do it because you're supposed to. All right. Events. No, see, I'm in the. I want to go in the
attendee mode.
Where is it?
Upcoming.
Oh, that's today's event. Sorry. No upcoming events.
Not there.
Well, something done broke. Because I did it as that address. Maybe they don't have it available yet. That's okay. There's a 5-minute keynote pre-show. Okay. Yeah. I wasn't sure if we had talked about this. If we had. for the people. I'm feeling inspired. Robert, oh God, thank God Robert has his hands up.
I just wanted to share with you that I actually like Zoomtopia. Maybe the content isn't that good, but I like it because I know the production team that sits behind it, and what they do and the way they talk about how they produced it afterwards is so inspiring. That's the biggest value for me. I watch them and then I go back after we've had the meeting with the production guys and rewatch it to see all of the things that they talked about. It's very inspiring because they do a lot of very new things, or they do things that they're just about to release and haven't released yet. So I actually like it in that respect.
I like that. I like that part too. Like the first time they did the emoji waterfalls and things, and now we're sort of getting a taste of that too. Like that part of the technical behind the scenes stuff, how they do it is very interesting.
And we know what's coming up based on what we see there, because all the tools that they use in Zoomtopia, they're dog fooding or in a very public way, but they're testing them out for us.
Yes, so David, we can book Andy and his team for after Zoomtopia to come in and tell us how they did it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to your point, Frank, I don't find that the talks compelling. I don't find the speakers to be compelling in any way. However, what I did find really good is the sessions that you could go in and meet up with specific people and talk with them in breakout rooms. That was really good.
I can agree with that. I don't think Zoom's alone in this. I think that it's just the way it's been done for the last 20 years is that the leaders of the corporation get on a stage somewhere and, try to be evangelical or something, and it just doesn't click with me quite often. And only a very few handful of people I've ever seen do it are good at it.
Did I hear that it's not hybrid this year, that it's just
virtual?
Yeah. Sorry, Ray, go ahead.
For me, it's the, religious dichotomy of, oh my gosh, we got to all get together in the same city. We all have to fly in. We have to spend a lot of money. We have to get around together, and we all have to hug each other and shake hands. And oh, look, see screaming people that we know across the room and that sort of thing. And I was there in 2023. Row 2, right in front of Eric Wan, all that sort of thing. That was really great, being there with all those people and kind of seeing. Now they announced Zoom Docs was coming. A couple of fun things in there, but most of it was kind of boring. And to Robert's point and others, getting to go into the individual sessions was much more enjoyable. And I think some of us are guilty of this more than others. I don't necessarily kind of fly over to this camp very much. Of a Zoom virtual meeting and an event needs to be just as exciting as everything in person. And while I think it needs to be engaging, you need to hold people's attention and do a lot of things to get people involved, as opposed to sleeping at the desk and waking up with QWERTY written on their forehead. We need to make engaging content. And you're right, having all of the guys at the C-level, come on for their 10 minutes of fame is because they think the people out there on the other side of the camera are all stockholders. And they want to hear them, I think. They don't realize who we are down here at the tier 0 and the tier 1 level. And some of you may be at tier 2 or 3. But it's a different world now. We want to include people, and we know that we don't have to have you spend thousands of dollars on airfare and hotel and all that sort of stuff just to see the thing that we want to put on. And there are still organizations that are stuck doing that, and they don't do anything virtual. I don't see how their membership continues to survive.
I completely agree with you. I think a big part of this is not for me, it's for the stock market, it's for their investors, is to create hype so that the industry reporters pay attention and report about what happens. So they're trying to create some sort of amazing dynamic thing to attract that attention. But that's not what I care about personally.
And they're catering to multiple audiences. So,
Well, and that's the purpose of tracks. Tracks have been in Zoom events since the beginning, but nobody really knows how to use them. And I think it's because most people never really open up the book when they go to a real conference and look at, here's the track listings. And if you're a technical person, here are the sessions you might be interested in. And if you're an accountant, here are the things you might be interested in. That the whole track concept allows you to go into the filter and click technical and push everything else out of the way and just look at those and then mark those to go on your personal itinerary and go to those.
go ahead, Frank.
A little different concept about Zoomtopia. I think that it's August now. Zoomtopia's in 5.5, 6 weeks, whatever. I doubt we'll see a lot of new releases. If they've got something really cool, they're probably going to save it for Zoomtopia or right around Zoomtopia. You never know, though. But
We're entering the dry spell.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't think we're going to see anything too exciting between now and September. Although September is a huge time for education. But I think if they were going to release something really exciting for education, they would have had to have done it already, because the way education, it's too late. We need to absorb it and document it and digest it so that we can teach it to our people. So I don't think we'll see very many new product enhancements until Zoomtopia happens.
Go ahead, Peter. It's a shame.
I was going to say, I don't know about, I know up in Ontario and Canada, it starts later, but school starts next week here in Texas. Just think about that. The South starts earlier. It follows the planting season, if those who don't remember history, right? Planting and harvesting season. School also gets out in early May, by the way, down here.
Yeah, for us too. It's a little crazy. Yeah, go ahead, Hansmark.
So I have a completely different question. I have a hard time, and I know we flogged this horse many times. It's a question of encouraging people to keep their cameras on in a meeting. And what took me completely by surprise is that the mobile operator that engages us for video production, many of them are reluctant to put on their cameras because they say, I want to save on data. So, okay, you're in the business of selling data and you wanna, so it was quite a bit of a letdown. So I've been thinking of this for a while. And my thinking was, how can, my argument is always that many other online platforms usually grab the highest resolution and therefore not necessarily manage bandwidth as efficiently as Zoom does. Now, I'm not sure if that's true or not, but that's my gospel in my church. And I'm not sure if I've converted many on that approach. So I'm trying to figure out how to empirically prove to have maybe a session and without cameras on, and have another session with cameras on, and figure out what was the actual consumption of data. And I'm not sure if such a thing is even feasible. So I thought maybe folks could have some ideas.
You know how I think people feel it the most? Make them be the teacher to a blank Zoom to a Zoom full of blank windows. That's when they recognize how painful it is and what a horrible experience it is.
We don't have too many teachers. So.
Right. I'm just
joking. I'm just being flippant.
That
So
Yeah.
I think we've all heard enough from all of the technical guys that come on board here that Zoom does a great job of managing bandwidth. It's really very small pipe that Zoom must have in order to give you a decent experience. And for those of you guys, I'm not at a, gosh, everything has to be at 1080p or I'm just not going to watch it because it's horrible. Many people will watch at lower resolution and just be fine with it. Um, I really find that there's kind of, as I put in the little comment here, there's a lot of people that just don't want to have to deal with a camera, and my background looks like crap and I haven't combed my hair in weeks and I'm wearing my pajamas or whatever, and they just, they use whatever excuse they can in the world to not show their face on TV. And the real difference in the people that I deal with, mostly, holistic style nurses and people who do hands-on physical therapy and things like that, talk about doing this sort of stuff with other people remotely with cameras, and it's how you make connection over Zoom. And the experiment, Hasmuck, I would say, is not looking at the bandwidth, but looking at the interpersonal communication of people in a meeting who all have their cameras turned off, and then have one where everyone has the cameras turned on and see the actual visual difference between people who are really making the connection with other people and people who are not.
It's
And for those of you that are old like me, and you remember the days where all we had was telephones and landlines, I used to make a great connection with my girlfriend who lived across town. We would talk for half hour, 45 minutes longer. She, anyway, we made the connection. It was just audio because that's all we had. Now we're not flying around as much visiting people. This is the way to make connections.
I somehow respect the argument. I don't think the argument is so much about immersive experience and all that kind of, all the reasons why we have our cameras on. But it's really hard for me to counter this one-liner. If I switch on my camera, I'm going to consume a lot of data in my session. And as I said, that coming from a mobile operator staff is really shocking for me. But there must be some objective way to demonstrate that here's a meeting for 10 minutes. And for me, as the host or participant, it used X amount of data, and have another 10-minute meeting where my camera is on, because I'm not sure if it matters whether it's my camera on or if it's everybody else's camera on. So all of these permutations may or may not affect the data consumption. So it's really, really, really boils down onto data. In my country, the people are super sensitive about price of data because it's not that inexpensive. It's a hurdle for many.
Tony and Peter.
Yeah, I just want to say that I think for us, we are in the choir. We get it. We understand that, coming on camera, looking the best you can is important. I'm going to say that based on my experience with regular, ordinary people, and even professionals, they don't get it. The click has not been made that it is important. And human beings typically do what is important to them. They have not, and I know I'm making a generalization, they have not made the connection that it is important for engagement for them to be on camera. It is important for them to look the best that they can. it's really not about the data. I mean, I'm sure that it is a factor. But like anything else, we do the things that we want to do or the things that we deem as important. And so I think that's an excuse. It just has not become valid or important to everybody, to the most people. And when that happens, you'll probably see a shift. But I think the argument for you, sir, is to continue to push the envelope, continue to stress the importance of the engagement, and eventually there will be some that come over and join the choir.
Yeah. And I'd agree everything that Tony said, but there's one other thing, a couple other things I would say, Hazmat. One is you're saying the mobile phone operators themselves. This sounds to me like management by embarrassment. I would shame them into that question. There's absolutely no reason they themselves don't have access to essentially unlimited data. Now, I will grant you here, and certainly in the US, I have run into youth who did not understand that they had an unlimited data plan on their phone. Neither did their parents, by the way. Their parents are thinking 15 years ago where everyone had a limited data plan, right? But now, it's, to me, it's unlimited. The other piece of that is I don't know the nature of these meetings, but once a quarter I host a class online on Zoom, and it is a class that it's for a certain type of certification. And we have proctors. What do the proctors do? I divide them up so this is Boy Scouts. So in patrols, I divide the class up into patrols. And the proctors verify that everyone continues to have their camera on. Otherwise, they don't get credit for the course. I mean, I play hardball. If their camera's not on for the course, duration of the course, they don't get credit, period.
Robert, go for it.
Hasmuk, I, I, let me try a softer way of approaching this. And I had a similar situation to you. And we sat down and we sat down and we brainstormed how we can find the reason why they should have the camera on. Not as much as how much it costs, but why they should have it on. What will be the benefit for them? And what will they get out of having it? And we started sending out shorts to the attendees. And I hate to say this, but sorry?
To where?
To the attendees who had their cameras on.
Like shorts, like pants?
No, shorts as in short reels.
Sorry. You're saying like
different part of the woods. So we started sending shorts out to them, very short. And it was that exercise that made me realize how we as people are so, what's the word I'm looking for? We really love ourselves. We love to see ourselves. And after that, we never got up to 100% because I'm sure there are people who had good reasons not to turn their cameras on. But the amount of people with their cameras on went up to around 60%. It was over 50%. So that was a success rate. But we gave them, we looked for the why. Yeah. The rational part of saying it only consumes whatever it is, 500 megabits per hour, just didn't mean anything to them that we could get through on. But when we gave them the why in terms of the whole of their community, putting pressure and say, look how I looked, where's yours? Oh, I don't have one. I didn't switch my camera on. Next time he came, he had his camera on in anticipation of getting that. So I'm not saying this is the solution for you. I'm just sharing what we did, and we got a good result out of going down that route.
I'm also quite a stickler because I guess I normally say we do AV broadcasts, we don't do meetings. And there's a particular kind of experience, and there are certain prerequisites. And one of them is that everybody should have their cameras on. So with the medical event that we do every 6 months, 100% have their cameras on. That's just part of the T's and C's that they sign on. And then we had a follow-up additional 1 hour talks by the same medical people. And there what we said is your continuous professional development points will not be allocated if your cameras are not on. And the thinking and the rationale we used is we're very happy that you're online, but we're not sure if you're present. And that kind of persuades them quite quickly to keep their cameras on. Better still is that we ask the talent to sometimes randomly pick on somebody whose camera is off and ask them a question, and then wait till they switch on their camera before there's an engagement of a conversation or a discussion. But all of these are tactical to overcome this notion of, but I'm trying to figure out if I can empirically prove by sheer some methodology that says, I've been in this meeting for so long. This is my data at this level. I had a meeting for 15 minutes or 30 minutes, and my actual mobile SIM data consumption went from here to here. Let's say when my camera was on, and when my camera is off, here's the data consumption. The other question is my data consumption informed by whether my camera is on or off, or whether everybody's camera is on or off? What informs the data consumption as a participant in a Zoom meeting?
I don't
Very
know
good.
if there's instrumentation that would allow that or provide that. I mean, you can do an instantaneous look at the performance numbers at any given point in time to see what you're using versus what you're receiving. But I don't know if you could actually go in and see. I mean, the phone company would have to give you access to individual users'
Correct.
bandwidth consumption data.
Yeah. It would be just mine, just one user. So as a user, I want to measure my data consumption, not
So
everybody.
I don't know how South Africa's phone company works, but I know I could go on to the AT&T website today if I were using my phone. I'm not. I'm using
Gotcha.
I'm using fiber optic, so a whole different
Yes, yeah,
conversation. But
yeah.
by using the
Exactly.
phone, I could say, okay, my used bandwidth, this, it's not bandwidth, it's data allocation, really, in reality. Its data allocation was this number right now. Then I'd go start the Zoom meeting. After I end the meeting, I would go back and look at that same web page, and I could see what the two numbers were. But that would be it.
Yeah.
And yes, it's informed by what they're doing as well as what you're doing, because it's
Exactly.
it's two-way data. Right.
Right. Over to you, Robert.
As my, I have a managed router and a managed switch in my studio. If you want, we can just arrange a meeting and we can measure the traffic one way and the other way. It shows us that data from specific individual users. So if that's something you'd like to do, we can just catch up. The other thing, the statistical information, I don't know if we're all aware of it, but the statistical information that I have is that if you have your camera on, depending on the resolution, you're consuming about 850 megabytes of data per hour. Sorry. So, and if you've got a really high resolution camera, you'll be going up to 2. If you have it off, it's less than half of that. So that there is a considerable difference, if that's the sort of range that they're concerned about. But we can measure it empirically if you like.
Yeah. That'd
Hasbuk,
be good.
yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
just
go ahead.
I just need a basis of being very confident in what I'm saying, and I need to sound convincing. But at the moment, my argument is based on, well, Zoom is more efficient in data management than other platforms that maybe grab the highest resolution. Now, that was true for Skype. I mean, Skype always grabbed the highest resolution. Alex is always famous for saying, "How much bandwidth do you have? I'll take it all." You know, that kind of approach. And my thinking is that maybe Zoom doesn't do that at all.
Right. Yeah. Hasbuk, the other suggestion that I have too for you is that in the workplace app itself, it does have the stats where you can actually look at the amount of bandwidth that you're using and the amount of resolution you're using, right? So even though, and this is the other scenario too, is that even though that you're not sending your camera, if the people in your meeting are watching video, they're still using that data.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not an audio call for them ever.
Yeah.
Right. The only way they will get a true audio only call is if they're calling into the audio bridge number.
Yeah.
Right.
But we have to all be careful here. We're misusing the word bandwidth. That's not what they're complaining about. No. They're complaining about
consumption,
how much data consumption you're using. That's the key. And, I'm looking at the screen, at the statistics right now that Zoom provides, and they don't actually show you the consumption that you've used. You could do the math. You could figure out, started here and I ran it, like mine is going at 5,353 kilobits per second, and do the math. Or you get on this case, the phone company site, and figure out what the before and after consumed data was. It's not a bandwidth question. It's a data usage question.
I think it has much to do with the fact that probably I would say 70 to 75% of folks connect wirelessly through the mobile services, unlike hardwired access like fiber. So, and that's why this comes up very often.
Actually, I would say, Hasmuth, you had the start of that phrase just right. I would say it was much ado about nothing.
Exactly. All right. Over to you, Mr. John Drinkwater.
Shall we start with the elephant in the room?
Elephant? Yes, please.
Hasbuk, you are a wonderful guy. Presenters are boring. That's one thing to consider. The other thing to consider is we've noticed in our medical meetings that 50% of the doctors watching the events are now watching it on their mobile phones, which means they are not sitting down attentively listening to you as they would have done if you brought them to a physical room. They are now running it on their phone while they're doing the washing up, while they're making dinner, while they're watering the garden. They're not paying as much attention. It's a TV show. It's a radio show. It's background music. You need compelling speakers to keep their attention. Otherwise, they're just not paying attention. And if you want them to pay attention, then what I'm getting into is Do you think that you could be more interesting? Do you feel that this is a problem for you? What am I doing? I've just done 3 rhetorical questions. So it's now become a conversation with each individual person, unlike a presentation where they hide behind one big slideshow and nobody sees them. And if you agree with me and you think that's a good idea, then why not challenge them to give some reactions? Hands up or all the other reactions they've got. Is this a problem that happens to you? If it does, thumbs up. If it doesn't, do something else. Get some interactions. And Ray's an expert because he knows where the reactions buttons are and he hit them straight away. So with all due respect to all these presenters out there, they're also doing the same thing. They're also thinking, I've just got this big slideshow. I haven't even got a clicker anymore. I'm now just pressing a space bar on my computer and they're doing the presentations like this. And they're watching the children who are in the corner, making sure they're working all right, seeing what TV they're watching. And they're not concentrating as much on the presentation either. It's a problem, but it can be fixed. Yeah. And it's certainly got nothing to do with data, with all due respect. And it's got absolutely nothing to do with Zoom, because Zoom keeps adding features. And what I'm finding is that more people are using less features than they did. During COVID, it was the only way to communicate. So they loved it. Now it's just, well, now it's an excuse not to go into the office. Now it's an excuse not to have to travel across town to meet a whole load of people and sit down in an auditorium on an uncomfy chair and have a conversation. I think we've got to up our game to make the presenters up their game so that people get more engaged with all this content that we're producing. And if we don't, then what happens? Even Zoom itself has found that it's not worth the effort of doing Zoomtopia face to face. It hasn't justified itself to bring people to that room. So they're just going to pump it out. And Zoom, if you're listening, we know when you're playing pre-recordings all the time. And if you're going to send us pre-recordings all the time, what's the point in us turning up? We might as well just watch it on YouTube when we feel like it. And this is a challenge out to all of you. And yes, on my own show, that's one of the things Mike and I are trying to gradually work in. How do we interact with our audience? This show is a really good example of how interaction works. Because although there might be 3 or 4 people half asleep in the panel, they will wake up and contribute when they have the chance to contribute. And people in Zoom, as people watching us through YouTube on the channel, have been able to ask questions. This is an interactive way and it works. And because it works, I know that Ray's got something even more interesting to say. So I'm going to now shut up and let him take over. Over to you, Ray.
Thanks, John. Thanks, John. Hey, I agree with everything you say. And I have a little piece of icing on that cake, if you don't mind. Zoom events as a platform, if you've been paying attention to the release notes every month, the big icing on the cake for them is content management systems. The CMS now, the video on demand piece is getting the major part of their attention. And they are gearing this up. Why? Because of much of the things that John has said, that there's no icing on that cake you're eating. Are you there, John? Anyway, they know that, you know, events are good, meetings are good. People will come to them if there's stuff, but people don't really want to do that. They want to, you know, they want to just listen, okay? But then they don't want to just listen. They want to listen when they want to listen. So this whole CMS thing is Zoom's way of grabbing a piece of the dollar or whatever your national currency is to basically have you store your stuff on Zoom. Now, one of the things that they're doing is they're making it so that you can create a simulive that basically goes into your CMS and you can actually flip on polls and quizzes along the way, and you can actually get the answers to those, even if they're watched individually. That to me helps keep the engagement up. You can actually ask people, did you get all of that sort of stuff? What was the answer to this question? All that sort of stuff. And figure out something on the back end from an analytics perspective where people really engaged or not. How do you know whether people are engaged on a YouTube video? Did they watch the whole thing? If they're supposed to be doing something on Zoom to get credit for it, just because it played the whole time doesn't mean they were watching. People don't have any patience for YouTube. If they go 15 seconds in and they don't like it anymore, that stops playing. They go to the next one. But in Zoom, they go, oh, I'm going to get credit for this. I'm going to hit play and I'm going to run off to the refrigerator. Yep.
Ray,
Yep.
I don't know about you, but when I'm watching something like that, I'm not watching it at regular speed. I'm watching it at as fast as I can get it to go so I understand what they're saying.
Yes.
That's a fact. Same with my podcasts. I use Overcast, and if I can't take the time to listen to it at normal speed, it just doesn't work for me. And when you listen back to certain shows, you find at regular speed, you can't believe how slow they're talking. You just can't believe it.
Yeah, I agree. I talked earlier about the pre-records that I'm doing for this event in September. And what I've done is, record them all over Zoom. And then for my video editor, I create basically a script of, look, we just shot the breeze for the first 15 or 20 minutes. And at 18:37 is when he said, thank you for that brilliant introduction, Sam. What I'm about to talk, and they will go through their thing, and I listen through all of that at least 2x if I can, just to see where did they cough and where did they do some things, and I put that in the notes. And then, as we're getting towards the tail end, I want to mark exactly where they ended up, and I slow it down to 1x, and it was like, oh man, I can't believe they talk this slow. I get it.
Over to you, John.
John.
It's so nice of him. I always leave something off and Ray can come in, and then he leaves something off for me and I can come in. One of the other things which has happened this week in Zoom events is they've changed the way the licensing works. Not in a big way. Don't worry. Don't panic. It's not complicated. What they've done is allow you now to have one hub, but with multiple events accounts running in that hub, so that you could have, for instance, 3 events licenses and you can put them into the one hub. And that means all those 3 events can have their own schedules and can be running within that hub. And if they overlap, it doesn't matter because they are 3 completely separate. And this is really neat. But what was really neat for me, and took me 24 hours or 48 hours of sleep to think about it, is it also gives you an idea of how the larger accounts and the corporates are starting to use this software. So instead of having lots of hubs individually, they're now thinking it's better to have one big hub and put all your content in there and have all the events. So people only need to go to one hub in their corporate to get all the content, because you can set categories. There's lots of nice sorting and facilities available now. You can actually create your own categories so people can then look at the hub list from those categories. But the fact is that they now think that it's really useful to have all the events happening in one big mega hub, maybe you call it, and the events will be running. And if they overlap, it doesn't matter because they've got different unlimited license running it all at the same time. And as Ray said, then you take all that content and you put it into their CMS system, which is not YouTube. It is a replay system for your events. It's the ultimate Simulive. It's all been recorded, but they're putting back all the interactions back into those recordings. So you can watch it at your prescribed time, but you still get a chance to participate in some of the interactions. And that I think is very interesting because it shows it really demonstrates what we've all been saying, that doing stuff live is becoming less important to a lot of people. They would rather schedule watching your content when it's suitable and easier for them, unless you can give them a compelling reason to turn up at the date and time. I do a lot of marketing events and I'm part of a lot of marketing events. You know what the first thing is people say when you say, here's an event and it's $197? They don't go, "Ooh, it's $197. The first thing they say is, can I get a recording? Before they even talk about the price, before they're even concerned about the price, the first thing they say is, can I get the recording? And a lot of marketers, because they want that interaction in the meeting, will actually say, there is no recording, because they want the people in the event on the time, because that's the way they're going to sell a product. That's where they're going to market a product, or they want the interaction. Maybe they've got breakout rooms in mind. And obviously you can't, well, I'm sure Zoom will find a way, but it's not very easy to do breakout rooms in CMS because you're not all there at the same time. However, I think it's very interesting the way the whole market is moving, and it's good to see that Zoom's following it. And it'll be interesting to see what they do at Zoomtopia and how many people watch it live and how many people watch it on CMS.
Right. Actually, I'm trying to figure out, let your nerd be heard. Is that Ray? For some reason, I think that's you, but maybe not. Okay. So it's somebody on YouTube and he says, and then they'll never actually watch the recording, but require it in order to buy their ticket. Is the comment? Johnny, thoughts?
Certainly. I agree with that. A lot of people want a discount if you get the recording.
Oh, Justin, sorry.
And then they never watch it.
I knew you're a familiar person. Yeah, it's Justin, our Justin that does the Zoom ISO and all the Zoom companion apps. Hello, Justin. Sorry. So that's our thoughts to that. I was wondering, and this is going back to Hesmuth quickly, is there a way, and I don't know this off the top of my head, so I'm going to say this to the panelists and also to the YouTube audience, that you can not allow mobile devices to connect to the meeting. Meaning when you're scheduling that meeting or event, let's just stick with meeting as easiest. Is there a way to say that you must be a non-mobile to join the meeting?
I don't think there's a way, and I think a feature request would probably not sit very well with Zoom, because then there's fewer people using Zoom at that point if you start doing that. I think, like most things in Zoom events, we can certainly make a compelling case in some cases for why that would really work for certain environments and certain situations, but I don't think they'd really go for it in general.
So down to the meeting level, but you're thinking more at the event level, right?
Right. I mean,
Awesome.
the web browser version of the meeting join thing doesn't really work very well. And to be fair, it's not just desktops. You've got Linux over there that certainly has some restrictions over there, as well as the whatever that PWA thing that you can do on Chromebooks. I mean, I've got a Lenovo Chromebook over here just for testing the PWA app and find out where the limitations are.
I also might add that a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, are using iPads rather than their computer for Zoom meetings. A ton of people are using it. You'd be surprised how much and how many people are using iPads, and that would be considered a mobile device, and then you'd be losing a lot of people.
Yeah. Now, again, the reasoning I was saying that was for Hasmuth's sake, because I know that in a lot of his events, he would prefer them not to be on mobile at all. Hasmuth, correct?
Yeah, but
I know,
as
wishful
we
thinking, right?
yeah. it would cut off a number of people to join meetings because 70% of the folks in my country access through their mobile devices. So,
But yet are
I,
concerned about data.
yeah, obviously the market that we are professionals, so they all have laptops or desktops. I'm just looking at as we progress. So one of the things that's happening is that this mobile company has looked at the way we run the medical events. And they say, well, I have in my area 90 stores with an average of 3 or 4 people I need to meet. So why don't I do an event like you do your medical event, where everybody in the stores is online? I can do my 1 hour dog and pony show and take questions from the folks in the stores, and they will have access not just to the field representative, but they'll have access to the executives in the meeting. So to have access to the executives in the meeting is an incentive for them to be in the meeting. So that's what we're piloting at the moment. And we piloted this with the staff at this mobile company. And they said, well, I keep my camera off because I want to save my data. It was such a shock to me that somebody who works for a mobile company who's selling data is saying they want to be conservative with the data. And probably almost all of them have a very good, what we call data packages. So the cost of per megabyte is probably minimum.
So Hasma, one more time, because there was some data in there that was actually very intriguing, because it sounds like events that I've done in the past where basically head office wants to do a broadcast to their employees. So let's call it an all employee meeting, but yet there's 90 locations and they were trying to figure out how to get all 90 locations to view the event all at the same time live.
Yeah,
right?
we're planning this. So I think in 2 weeks' time. So we've had 2, 3 dry runs in terms of having these folks to be the talent, and the talent are in various locations. So they
Okay,
will
so
be, yeah,
yeah, so not only are you beaming to them in the 90 locations, but there is potential that you will need a feedback from them at each location as well, because they might be
yeah,
participating one way or another.
yep, yep.
Okay. Yeah, that again, I did that 20 years ago, so I know that the technology is available now. There's been a lot of advancement in 20 years. So I was able to get that done 20 years ago. So I know that the capabilities that Zoom offers is there. My
Thanks,
suggestion would be for them to
thanks, Mike.
actually,
I'm catching up with your 20-year experience.
yeah, and it's no problem. Again, I've been in the streaming industry for 25, so I'm just telling you that it's there. But what I guess what I'm trying to say is that the and again, it was for a telecom company that I was doing this for too. Go figure, and a very large one. But basically, the scenario is that you need to, if they are they all for sure going to be within the location, their 90 locations, watching or participating?
Yeah, they're participating and watching in each
So,
of these 90 stores. Yes, correct.
right. So everybody should be officially on Wi-Fi, not using mobile data at
Uh,
minimum.
correct, correct, correct.
So all of a sudden the data were the official data slash bandwidth issue now. Well,
Yeah.
bandwidth is one thing, but data is now the data word officially disappears because they should be using the local Wi-Fi for everybody watching at that location.
Well, it gets a little bit more interesting. This organization is a Teams shop. So, and they also preclude from staff devices using Zoom on company devices. And so part of the pilots we've been doing is each of these staff members had to create their own Gmail accounts so that they can use Zoom on their personal accounts. Now, in a lot of the stores, they have access to the net, but if the access to the net is behind the firewall of the corporation, then obviously they have limitations. So I think they're trying to jump all these hurdles because they see the value of connecting to from head office these 90 stores so that they can cut down the field effort that they have to make and the logistics that go with it. So I think they're working with us.
Yeah, I can envision what they're doing, and I did want to make the comment of you should just be broadcasting to Teams, but I don't want to go down that road either, because Teams is Teams and Zoom is Zoom. So, but and again, Robert can attest for this too, where Robert will flip out of Teams and come back to Zoom and use Zoom, but yet go into Teams if he has to, depending on his client. You've said that in the past, Robert. I know that, but I know you're probably, but you avoid that like a bad illness. I understand that too.
Not really, because there are situations where the user base is in Teams, and it's so much easier for the organization to invite these users for meetings, for events by department, because they've got all of that categorized already, and it's an internal invitation that goes out. So in those cases, I really look at what value we're going to provide from the production side, with especially the speakers. And there have been events, Hasmat, where we've had people speak initially and say what they wanted to say, and then made them move to Teams. So we had them in Zoom, we did all the production in Zoom, and we streamed that into one user in Teams that we spotlighted, and then asked those people to move into Teams after that to go into breakout rooms and meet up with the staff. So I would keep an open mind. I wouldn't just cut Teams off completely. The question is where is the bottleneck? I think you're very brave in asking people to go and set up Gmail accounts and then use their private phone calls to come onto a company meeting. And I think that's probably the point where you've got that mindset of, I've got all of this free data I'm not going to pay for this meeting out of my own pocket. And that's probably the mindset that's been built by this exercise.
Yeah, so it makes sense a little more now, Hasmut, now that we know that they're Teams based versus Zoom based, and then of course that you're having them get Gmail accounts.
Yeah. No. My question on having cameras on and data usage was more generic in terms of I have many meetings in Zoom, and even when I have a board meeting with directors, and they normally have the cameras off. And normally I just say, goodbye, I see you at the next meeting. And so now none of my board members have their cameras off. So I'm, I'm quite obstinate as far as that goes.
Right. Okay. That's good. I just want to say hello. Andy's watching us on YouTube. Hello, Andy. Not Andy from Liminal, but Andy from Leham Creations. Yes. Hi, all. Hello, Andy. I just wanted to say hi to you about that. All right. And Jen.
May I ask a question that has something and nothing to do with what we've been talking about?
Of course. I was going to say hi to you, and we were going to ask how your week was because you just joined us. So start there first, and then we'll ask you a question.
Okay. Well, my week has been crazy, and I'll talk about that in a minute because it's we're all going to go through it sooner or later. What I'm going through, but I got an email I have Zoom sessions, as you know, so I could get that 1080p. And I got an email from Zoom saying Zoom session is being renamed to Zoom Events as it becomes part of the Zoom Events platform. Anybody have any input on that? What that means in real life?
Over to Mr. Harwood.
It doesn't mean anything at all to you other than they're ripping one label off and putting another label on it. I didn't hear that they were renaming Zoom sessions to Zoom events. I heard it was
That
being renamed to something else that maybe they're withholding until the actual renaming that happens later in August.
yeah, in
Well,
2 weeks.
yeah. But the reality is, and I don't want to toot my own horn here because I'm sure it's not my horn tooting that's made the difference, but I mean, every time I get to talk to a bunch of real Zoomies, I go, your terminology is just horrible. You use the same term in so many places. And the term session is you have Zoom events, but in Zoom events, you have sessions. But then you have this single session Zoom event thing, and you call that Zoom sessions. And so that whole term of Zoom sessions, they're going to relabel it a little bit. And I think that the label aligns more with the product differentiation between the two. I've always called Zoom sessions the baby sister of Zoom events. So
Yeah. Anything to add, John?
Not for 2 weeks, no.
No, that would be the official answer. Yeah, Robert, Ray, John, and I can't talk about this for another 2 weeks. So to be continued, Jan, on that official word on what.
Tune in
they
in
are
2 weeks. This sounds like a commercial to me. Tune in 2 weeks, ladies and gentlemen, for the
yeah,
answers.
That's right. And as long as all the stars aligned, officially, Josh, one of the representatives from Zoom events slash session slash yet to be determined name, will be here. So you can ask him any specific questions, and that's to our YouTube audience as well. So stay tuned. David will let everybody know in the newsletter and thumbnail when Josh will be one of our guest speakers for that show. So that'll be coming up very, very soon. Either, as far as I know, it might be the 15th. Let me just check my calendar quickly. Yeah, it'll be the 15th or the 22nd.
I had heard that the rename was occurring on the 18th, but that's what someone said.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, they said in
Someone.
August. I don't have the DAX 8, but
Yeah.
but the exact wording that I gave you, that was what the email said, that
Huh.
it's changing its name.
Interesting. Yep.
Yeah, and again, for Jen, for your situation, it is no different product wise. They are just rejigging the proper naming for Zoom sessions to something more appropriate.
Yeah, the other term I've been after him to change is you've got the Zoom paper attendee licenses, and the other one is the unlimited license. It's like, oh, unlimited. There's no limitations. That's the license that I want, and I've made some cases for that, and now you can see it referred to as three different things: unlimited, subscription, and SaaS. And I'd just like for them to call it subscription and be done with it everywhere.
Yeah, that would make it. All right, I've got another question for you geniuses, and I call you geniuses in the most sincerest form of that. You guys know what you're doing, and you know. So I do a weekly meeting, just like you guys do. And what I find is that when I go into settings and change the meeting, and every week I number the meeting, so I go in there first, and I will go to my meetings. I'll go to edit my meetings, select all, and then I will make the changes that I will make, and then I will click save changes, and Zoom gives me a notice whether with a little checkbox, you you want to send, you're going to save this. Do you want to save it? And the checkbox says, send the changes out to everybody on my list. Well, when I change, if I do it all in one fell swoop, where I change the meeting, add the next date, because what I do is that I want to send out a new email every week to somebody because the meeting ends and then I add the next week so that when it goes out, it has something to say. Other than that, so I add the next week. So it says, hey, now the meeting's been rescheduled. It's this week and next week. And I do that all the time. But what I find is when I click the box to send it out to everybody, it doesn't send out that letter. It just sends out a different letter with the reminder of the new schedule. Is there any way that I could send out the original sign up email again?
I don't think you can choose which email you send out, but what you can do is you can go and edit that email that they do send out when you reschedule the meeting. So you can change what's written in there. And the way to do that is to go, I need to look at my Zoom account. Do you know where you edit the emails?
Yeah,
Then?
let me open it up on my end, see if there's any secret information there. And if there's not, then I'll share the screen and show you what I'm talking about.
I understand
Let,
what you're talking about. I'm just saying that you can edit the emails and make them have a similar. You copy the email that you want to go out and paste it into that email that you are sending out when you reschedule the meeting.
all right, if I can share my screen with you. I can share my screen with you right now. So you'll see
Go
what
ahead,
I'm
Jen.
talking about. Yes. Okay. 71. Last week it was 270. Then this is the text that I want to send out. And then what I would do, is if I was going to do it, I would save this, click save, and then, well, I didn't make any changes, so it wouldn't send it out. But let me edit it again. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Edit the entire series, right? And I will just change this to, let's say, 272. I'm not going to change it, but I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now it'll say, see, notify registrations about the changes to this meeting. So I don't want what I want. I don't want to change it. So I'm going to go back to just cancel this. But you understand what I'm saying? But it doesn't send out this letter. It sends out something completely different.
That is correct. I understand that. It sends out the email that is called the send out this email if you reschedule the meeting.
And is there a way to change the text in that?
That's what I'm saying. What you need to do is to go into the editing mode of those emails and copy all of the code that is in for the standard email and paste it into that rescheduling email. And then it'll send out the rescheduling email, which is actually identical to your original email.
Let me see if I can figure that out. Well, I got you guys on the phone meeting. Looking right now. All right. So I don't know where to go. Where would I go? Do
I'm
I
just
open
looking
the
for it.
meeting? Do I
No, no,
be
no, no.
opening the meeting first?
You go into your portal and you go into the where you. I'm looking for the place you set up the emails. Just 1 minute, please.
Meetings.
It's not in meetings. It's in the settings, and it has to be at the account level settings because this affects the whole of the account.
Account management, maybe? Account settings?
I'm looking for it. I just can't remember. Just give me a second, please.
Yeah, the side effect of this is going to be that any future reschedule will send this information out to them. So if this is the only meeting that you're really doing this way, it'll be okay. But if you have others, that this is a global account-wide message that you're changing.
So for every meeting, I would have to do that. I only have one meeting right now, but I'm planning on doing more.
No, you don't need to do it for every meeting, but if you have a what we're saying is that the content of the emails sent out when you reschedule a meeting will always be what we're going to change now.
Do you mean advanced branding, Robert?
That's the place. I'm just trying to figure out where it is. I can't see it.
Advanced. It's in the advanced options, then it's in branding.
Yeah,
and at this point, I will, while Robert's trying to find that, I will now give you an official Zoom declaration. Dear user, you should not be doing this. This is not the way the system is written. This is not the way the system is designed. You should not be doing this. And I warn you people not to use this, because I have a feeling that this may be locked down sometime, because I know that spammers have used this to abuse people. What we are changing here is the email templates for the whole account. So
Correct.
if you're a 1-user guy or a 2-user guy, you may want to do it. If you're running more than one event, you will not want to do this, because you'll keep making changes, and then you're going to send out the wrong content for your event. You're allowed to edit the template of the messages. So the meeting cancel and the meeting update. I think it's the meeting updated notification emails, the one we're doing, Robert.
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
And it's very useful to do this when you're 2 hours before the meeting. Just change the title to starts in 2 hours and save it, and it will then send out the registration email to remind them to come through.
Yeah.
But this is a fudge. This is a workaround. This is a trick. This is not the standard way Zoom would expect it to work. They would obviously want you to be using the proper site for this, Zoom Events, because with Zoom Events, we can have a whole throughput. And Ray could probably go on for an hour describing all the fantastic emails that he can create to process people through turning up to the system. And they're adding more emails into that flow all the time. But in Zoom meetings, no. This is supposed to be a notification if you need to change times or something like that.
And where would I find that, John? Because that's exactly what I want to do. I send this out.
Section, branding.
Okay. Advanced section, branding.
Yep. And then if you go down to the meeting bit, you've got users, then you've got meeting. You've got meeting is cancelled, schedule meeting, registrations confirmation, meeting updated. You can customize all of those by putting little bits of extra text into certain boxes and just fill out the content.
I do not have that.
Are you the account holder?
Yes.
It
seems like it says
holder?
when I go to branding, it says Zoom events, and I don't have Zoom events. I have Zoom meetings.
No, I said the advanced section. So in the admin, you got advanced.
Actually, that's what I'm seeing. That's the problem I'm having, John. That's why I couldn't identify it. But I know
let me put it into chat so you can all try and follow, because you can follow my link. And
if I can share my screen to show you what I'm seeing.
No,
John.
you don't need to. Let's do it. Let's do it so you can work your way through it as well. Oh, hold on. I'm in a Mac and I can't cut and paste now. I should remember Macs don't cut and
Jen,
paste.
one question for you. Do you have a mailing list for your group?
Yes. And so what I do is to remind everybody about the meeting, the day of the meeting in the morning, I add the next date and then send it to everybody.
But through your mailing list, correct?
Through the mailing list in Zoom. I don't use an outside mailing list.
Or you don't use an outside mailing list. So you're
otherwise
using
that would
Zoom.
make it a lot easier. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, my theory would be is you use something like Zapier or Pabbly or whatever to create an interface between your Zoom meeting and the people registered, and maybe MailChimp or MailerLite or whatever you want to use for email, and that would keep the list updated, and then use the external email to send whatever you want to send at the appropriate time, and not rely on a couple thousand customizations of Zoom because everybody wants it done differently.
Yeah. Evidently, John, I don't have that. I'm looking at the same thing you're looking at right now. But
So
when I go to
you're looking at account branding emails.
yeah, when I go to branding, it only gives me two choices. It gives me no choices whatsoever. It says apply.
Oh,
There's a
oh,
button at the top that says
Ray,
apply
do we get
branding
this because
settings
we're
to
business?
sub accounts.
Do we get this because we're business accounts? I think this is available with
No, I have a
pro
business
ones as well,
account.
isn't it?
I have a business account and I'm having the same issue. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I'm getting the just the Zoom events managed domain piece in there as well.
Okay.
Put a screenshot of what it looks like in the
You have
chat.
to wear good quality socks and you have to have your legs crossed. Otherwise, you can't see this function.
Yeah, I'll send a screenshot of what I see.
Close that. Close that window. Just the dialog box.
Sure.
Scroll up to scroll up in the main frame of the web browser. Emails. Yeah. Go down, 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 down. Meeting. Registrant confirmation email. Meeting updated email. Click the edit button to the right. No, across from the thing that you highlighted.
Yeah, sorry, I had a window in the way.
Oh, okay, cool. Those are
Thankfully, there's a restore button when you make a mess of it.
There's a restore button.
I don't have access to that.
Oh, sorry. I thought I was looking at your screen. I've been looking at John's screen.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Sorry. I thought I was looking at your screen.
Yeah, I put my screen in the. I took a shot like John said and put it in the chat. That's all I see.
All right.
Maybe there's a setting I haven't turned on somewhere else.
Branding. You just have Zoom events.
I have Zoom sessions and normal Zoom meetings.
Right. Well, you're in Zoom sessions and we were in normal Zoom.
What is your account? Is it just a pro account?
Yep.
Maybe that's the reason.
I'm down in advanced, as you can see, brandings. So it's advanced the app marketplace, Zoom mesh, branding, data. Got all
I'm
that.
having the same issue today, actually. I can't access it. I usually access it through branding.
Yep.
And today I just can't see it. I don't know what it is. And it seemed, I wouldn't be surprised because I associated a new Zoom events license with this, well, a sessions license. I wouldn't be surprised if something happened.
Well, the Zoom events tab is one of the tabs in that branding list.
It is there.
You should have a whole load of other ones, including emails and header and footer and Zoom rooms and meetings and webinars, etc.
No, I only have the Zoom events one.
Yeah, I confirm too. And I'm looking at my pro account and no other tabs, just Zoom events.
The UK just has preference when they do updates not to get the website broken.
They.
Don't say anything, Jan, but I think they broke their website.
So
here's Frank.
This is what I see when I get to the branding and all the emails, the different ones you can edit. The meeting invite, the meeting scheduling email, the canceled email. But as everyone has said, this is for the entire account. Me editing these would change the behavior for thousands of people. So that's not the way I would go about it.
All right. Is there a switch somewhere that you can turn on to get that? Or is that just...
I'm just wondering if it's a limitation of not having a business account or higher.
I have a business account.
Me too.
Yeah, but he's
issue.
on... Oh, well, then I don't. Maybe there's some kind of weird thing going on with the server today. Servers.
Did you convert from pro to business, Robert?
No, I didn't. I always had business.
Okay.
And it was fine last week, so I know it was working. It's something to do with either the change of date or when I added the events license to this account.
Sounds like a support ticket to me.
Well, they just switched that option off.
Did they?
You never know what you're going to find when you start mucking around in the kitchen.
And this is where I'm now pulling up the release notes for Zoom Web.
Go for it, Ray. And oh, survey
Well,
says
there's I don't see anything specific, but all the way back to March 25 of 2024, updated Zoom workplace branding, new workplace. That's something even different. Never mind. So yeah, I don't see anything. Unintended consequences. That's what I call it.
Just wait till they fix it.
Yeah. When I go into personal, I go into the at the top of the menu it says personal, go all the way down to settings, and then I go to email notifications. It says invitation email, but it doesn't say anything about update to the scheduling email.
So what some people do, organizations, whatever, they don't rely on Zoom's invitation system. They'll go into something like MailChimp,
Right.
and they'll copy the invitation details, and then they'll administer the invitations through MailChimp, and that way MailChimp's probably got way more controls over look and feel and templates and all kinds of stuff.
Right.
I don't know if you have anything like that, but
I
there's
do have
other.
Mellow Light, but I've never got to the point where I wanted to use it. But I'm thinking, I really would like to be able to update and expand the mailing list. So I guess that's.
I think it's
more-
not available to pro users.
But Robert's on
particular
business,
section,
and it's not
because
there
I've just
for
gone
him.
into my demo account, which I believe is set as pro, and it's not there.
You sure you're logged into your business account, Robert?
Yes, I am. I've just logged out and logged back in, looked at my
John,
licenses.
can we get a screenshot of your full menu down the left-hand bar that includes the sub menus of branding?
What, the one that works?
Yes, sir. So that Robert and I can put it in our support tickets of John Drinkwater gets this. Why don't we get it?
Well, John Drinkwater is kind of famous in Zoom circles, whereas we,
Well, the funny thing is, the one that I pay all the money for is the one that works. So that there's something to be learnt there, isn't there?
and the one that and your test one, the pro one,
Not the one I borrow off somebody else. So
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get a screenshot. I'm going to switch machines and then give you a screenshot. I don't know how to do a screenshot.
Hey,
How do you do a screenshot on a Mac? Can anyone tell me that?
Frank,
Yes, I
over to you,
can.
Frank.
It's
Apple
your
Shift
iPhone.
4. Apple Key
Apple
Shift 4.
Nobody was looking at you because nobody was looking.
Then you'll
This
get
way.
the
Come on,
crosshairs,
come
and you
back.
can drag it
Come back.
to the
I
region
shut the
you want to
camera up.
capture.
Come on over here.
Or Apple Shift 5, but I use Apple Shift 4 the most.
Okay. So the next question is, how do I paste that into the chat?
You put your cursor in the chat and hit something P.
Normally on your Mac, you designate a place where these screenshots go. So like I have a folder called screenshots, and I just go to that folder and collect it and use it.
If you haven't done that, John, it'll be in what's it called? I think I'm getting brain
Documents,
blocked
maybe?
today. No, not in documents. It'll be in desktop.
But there's a keystroke that you can use for a screenshot that copies it to clipboard immediately. I just never use it.
Do I?
It's like Apple Shift Alt 5 or I don't know what it is, but there is one. I know there is one that copies it directly to the.
If you have SetApp, the ultimate one is CleanShot. I love CleanShot. If you have a SetApp app, it's part of SetApp. It's phenomenal. CleanShot.
It's built into the operating system.
It is, but it's not as good as CleanShot. I mean, CleanShot adds all sorts of other benefits.
There you are. Without installing any more apps and bloatware. That's a screenshot there, if that helps.
So you don't have any other sub menus that kind of like fall in the white space between the left menu and the horizontal menu?
Well, Ray, I can see all these tabs in that particular menu, which I've just done the picture of.
Yeah.
And if you look along the whole long list, eventually you find one for Zoom events, and you click on that, you see what he showed. So
Yeah.
he's got the Zoom events tab showing in that list, but he hasn't
Okay.
got any other of the tabs
And,
that I
and
have.
I don't have any tabs but Zoom events. So, okay,
Just,
cool.
Okay.
just like me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's special.
That's what my mum always said. Yeah.
That's interesting how much they will actually allow you to tweak.
You can tweak a lot because if you know what you're doing, you can go down to the HTML level and make the changes there.
Yeah, if
So-
you look at the screenshot that I just sent over, it's actually on the landing page, so you can actually change the HTML of the landing page for your Zoom account. And then after that, you can change the header and the footer, and you can change the CSS, so you can make it the color scheme of your corporate or your whatever your
Branding.
empire is. You can
Yep.
change the standard Zoom images. So I've got a Lord Zoom image on my one. And then you get to the point which we've been talking about, which is to be able to change some of the messages of the that come from Zoom meetings.
And the good news, of course, is that you can reset it if you mess it up.
That was the feature that I loved the best.
So yes. So what that means is Robert's saying, be careful. It will mess up. Make sure you know your CSS and your HTML coding, and you're good.
ChatGPT. Vibe coding.
Guys, it's coming up to midnight here. I'm going to say goodbye and have a good
You too.
weekend. See you next week.
All right,
Thanks
Robert.
for joining us again.
Bye. Thanks, Robert.
Bye.
Take care, Robert.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun. Jan,
Then there were 5.
did you figure? So was there any further situations with that email, or was that all?
No, that's it. It's like I realize they're not getting any information, just the update. All it says basically is the meeting's been updated to and it shows the next date now added.
I don't know if it's still an issue, but at one time Zoom had a problem where if you edited the details of a reoccurring meeting, it sometimes would change the link to the meeting, and then people would go to the link you originally provided, and it would not work.
And my question would be, I think, why are you updating all of the instances?
Well, I want to remind people that we're having the meeting today.
There's a remind function, a resend function.
But how many instances are there of that meeting? I mean, normally
Once a week.
is it set to recurring, no frequency, or is it set to recurring once a week?
It's set to end. It's set to end the next week. In other words, so if the meeting is, let's say we'll work today. Let's say the meeting was today, right? It would show up until today or even when you went up today, that the last meeting was today. Then I go up on the morning of the meeting and I change it and I add the next week. So today's the 1st, and it says the host has changed the meeting. There's now one more meeting taking place next week on the 8th. And everybody gets it with the link to come back to the meeting. And so that's how a lot of people join my meeting, is from that email. So yeah, I guess maybe the best thing, like Frank said, is time to move to another service.
There's another way to do it, but it's kind of a hack, and it depends on what licenses you have. So in Zoom, if you have both a meeting and a webinar license.
I don't.
Okay, but I'll just tell the story anyways for people who are listening. The webinar license has better tools for the registration and reminders. So what some people do is they'll create a registration, ask people to sign up, and you've signed up for a webinar. An hour before the meeting, they'll send out the reminders using the webinar tools, and then they'll convert the webinar to a meeting. That's a little hack that some people use. to get the.
Yeah.
It's almost like two different teams designed the interface for the, the what's it called, registration system and the reminder system. Did you know that one, Ray?
I'm sorry, I was working on
Oh.
something else.
All right. I just thought you might have heard of it too.
Yeah, because a lot of people do that. I mean, a lot of people send out the notice an hour before the meeting saying the meeting's about to start.
Yeah,
But-
webinars has some additional functionality in there, but I still think, you've got how meetings handles it, how webinars handles it, how Zoom sessions and events handles it, and then how you can handle it yourself if you have
Sure.
your own MailChimp
Oh yeah,
or MailerLite.
it's crazy the amount of why it's not some sort of unified, homogeneous thing, But
Well, it could be if just everybody would agree what needs to be done.
yeah, but at the end of the day, it's Zoom's responsibility to give us a cohesive, intuitive platform, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you look at the settings pages now, I mean, it's from the time when I first started using Zoom to now. I mean, it's insane I mean, I can't even count how many things they have on the sidebar that you can now have access to change.
Mm-hmm. And there's way more things you can get Zoom to do too if you have the right licenses or pay the right money.
Yeah, as you saw, Jen, with just if you took a look at John's screenshot, you'll see again that was a pro account that you're showing, John, there, right? That one, or was that was the business
No,
account?
that's a business plus.
Business plus account, right?
Yep.
So
There's-
again, what Ray moved up from pro all the way up to business plus this week.
There's also undocumented features or tools in Zoom that if you have an account rep and they disclose that these things exist to you, then you can contact Zoom and put in a support ticket, and on the back end they can turn on functionality that you can't even see unless you ask them to turn it on and they approve it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but you have to know about it.
I'm
That's why I
pretty
love this show so much,
pretty
is
sure
how
if you
much I
got a
learn
Lumi-
every week.
I'm
Sorry?
pretty sure if you've got a Zoom events or a Zoom sessions license and you've activated it at some time, certain features are turned on and they don't turn off when you
Oh, that's interesting.
don't pay any more money.
Interesting.
We say.
Yeah,
Raise
I
the
call
money
this
if you can try it.
handcuffed features.
Yeah, but what I have noticed, and over the year, how much Zoom wants you to be your number one platform for everything.
Of course.
Your tasks, your events,
You
your
can come again.
questions, your phone. I'm using Zoom phone. I love Zoom phone. It's great. I'm sure there's something better out there, but it seems like the way it has it set so that I could move it from my computer to my iPad to my phone, whatever.
Jan, how much are you paying for your Zoom phone?
It's going to be renewing. I think it's 192 a year. Oh,
Okay.
no. Zoom phone is 56 a month.
Yeah.
Right.
56?
Now have a look at what you get for free in Zoom Business and Zoom Business Plus.
Yeah, you'd be saving money if you just had Zoom Business.
They give you phone too?
And schedule.
And Ray found out this week he was doing the same thing, and now he's Zoom Business Plus. Did it sound similar, Ray, to what you have?
Yeah.
Did he have-
Now, Jen, where are you located?
Las Vegas, Nevada.
Do you make a lot of international calls?
Well, I live in Thailand most of the time.
Okay. So, the original Zoom phone plan is only $15 a month. So when you said 50, it sounds like a lot to
I have
me.
3 lines.
Oh, 3 lines. Okay. So without getting too much into the weeds, you have numbers, and then you have lines. And so I've got the main number. I've got a number assigned to me, and I've got 2 other numbers that I use just as entry points into automated, attendance. Do you actually have 3 phone numbers assigned to 3 different people? that are using
Well,
it?
I used to have a whole bunch of employees. Now I have what they call the Global Select Calling Plan,
Okay.
and I have one, two, three phone numbers.
All right. I'm going to shoot you
Sorry,
over.
four phone numbers. I have four phone numbers.
I'm going to shoot you over my email address, and you and I should get together at some point and just kind of review your account and make sure that. I mean, I don't want to steal money from Zoom, but if you're paying for something that you don't really need, I think you probably could save some money with that.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you're logged in and you go into the pricing, it may give you some clues about what you've got, what you get. But I would suggest you definitely have a chat with Ray because he's just gone through the process. But those on the internet who don't have Ray's phone number,
I'm
just
sorry,
shout.
Ray, that's a mistake. That eight should be a. How do I delete this or edit?
Which a that's okay. Just plop it in there again.
702. There you go.
Okay, cool.
And you wanted my email address.
Yeah, I put my email address, and you can just email me a note, and I'll chat with you along the way.
Okay. So, what is Good Clicks? I guess I could do the hard work and
Good
look it
Clicks
up
is the
myself.
name that I came up with 2011 when I kind of sort of retired. And I was doing some websites and some other stuff. And Good Clicks is like, I want to get the good clicks on my website. And then when the pandemic hit, I shoved all that website stuff aside because I really hated it and it was boring for me, and got into Zoom events. So yeah.
Okay.
And he became a Zoomie, not an employee Zoomie, but a Zoomie community. What are we called? Zoomie.
A champion, Zoom
Oh, that's
community
right.
champion. Yeah.
Community champion. Right. Yes. And Ray's got the badges to prove it. Okay.
Yeah, he's got some very rare badges as well.
Oh, rare.
Impressive rare, yeah.
John.
Uh-oh.
John, are you jealous?
There you go, Ray. I just sent you an email.
All right, cool. Thanks.
I've got some Zoom developer badges you'll never get, my friend. So I'm
Yes.
not totally jealous.
Yes.
So where are you? Where are you? Where did he disappear? Ray,
No,
where's Ray?
I'm here. I just threw my
he's just
Zoom
plugging
community
his
champion badge up there.
Personality.
I'm just outside of Phoenix.
Okay, not too far. We're actually in one time zone different. I just took my wife for the first time to see the Hoover Dam, and
Oh yeah.
and she was very impressed with it. I mean,
We stopped there as well. Our son was living in Vegas, down in Henderson, and he's since moved back. But yeah, we
that's
made the
where I
trip.
live, Henderson, actually.
Okay, cool.
Not proper Las Vegas, but I do live in Henderson.
It's like me. I'm not actually in Phoenix. I'm in a town called Avondale, literally 1,000 feet outside of Phoenix proper.
Now, keeping this in the Zoom theme, same with the Zoom Test Kitchen, are you guys using Zoom Companion for your phone, or are you using Zoom Companion on the phone?
You're talking about AI Companion, the
AI
AI
Companion,
piece?
yes, yeah.
I mean, I use it for, a couple of things. I can't say that I use it a lot on my phone. But the phone is great. I get a transcript of every call that I make on my phone. And people go, well, no, I told you this. And I go find the transcript and I search and go, would you like me to send you the copy of the transcript?
Yeah.
I can tell you exactly what you said. Yeah.
Yeah, now I have to say, when in Nevada, it's two party. Both parties have to agree.
Oh,
Certain
yeah.
states, it's only one party. And I have to say, is it okay if I take some notes? And, and then I don't say what kind of notes, but
Yeah.
I don't say, is it all right if I transcribe this call with AI? I think
Right.
that's a little intrusive. I don't know how many people would say, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, we were actually talking about that earlier, Jen, before you joined, where Hasma was actually mentioning that this week he actually had one of the doctors show up and actually had one of it was read.ai Zoom app come into the actual meeting as well.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
he was concerned about that, and we discussed about that quite a bit on that type of scenario, and the different ways that potentially you could actually get rid of it out of the app, which is very difficult.
Yeah.
So
But I think Jan's probably specifically talking about telephone conversations, and that's
Yes.
highly regulated in two-party states like California and Nevada. If you record something and don't get somebody else's permission, you better not tell anybody.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
they're never going to find out unless,
Right.
somehow but the reality is that I like to tell people, hey, is it okay if I take notes? And
Yeah.
that is, to me, is acceptable because I'm not recording their voice. I'm only taking the notes of the conversation.
Yeah. Well, except for the fact that I also record the call audio.
Oh,
And if I wanted to go, but that takes too much time. The transcript is so much easier.
well, Apple has that feature right now, right on your cell phone. Hit the button on the top left-hand
Yep.
corner and it records it, but it's intrusive. It's absolutely intrusive, But
Yeah.
whenever I call my insurance agent, before they'll answer the phone, please note, this call will be recorded for customer
Yep.
service, blah, blah, blah,
Yep.
training, and this kind of shit, which I'm sure it never gets done.
well, and I think
Losing your audio there, Jan.
yeah, Jen, I think your Bluetooth headset is dying on you. It's giving the early warning signal.
All right, well, very good. Well, it's anyway, it's 3:11 here where I am, and I really thank you guys for doing this. This is
Yeah, I'm going to have to run off
I
too.
can't believe more people just aren't, piling into this room. It's the most informative and most friendliest room. I'm going to say something this comes with the most respect I could give you guys, is that this is the only room that I know of where people in here never flaunt their authority and knowledge on you as if I know more than you know, and no matter what you know, you will never know as much as I know. So listen to me. Never once have I ever got that feeling from this room, other than people coming from the heart and wanting to share what they have to offer in a loving and giving manner. I'll tell you, I love this show. I love it. Absolutely love it. It's my favorite show, next to my own, of course, but it's my favorite show. I love it. Love you guys. Thank you.
Cool, Jen. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm honored to be part of it.
Cool. So
Yep.
on that note, the Hershey bar has joined us. Hersheyed, are you there? Come in, Hersheyed. So I made a comment in our chat about the chocolate bar has arrived. Hershey bar, of course, that's our little nickname for him, because of the of the fact that he has, again, and Hershey, I would like you to explain this to me again because I keep forgetting the reasoning that you can't change your name before coming into the actual into the meeting, into our meeting ahead of time. That would be great to let the YouTube audience know about that too. That'd be awesome. Take care,
See you
Ray.
guys. Yep.
All right,
Take care.
give me a call. I'm
Yeah,
looking forward to
take
it.
care,
Bye,
John.
everybody. See
Yeah.
you soon. Have a great week.
It's down to us, Mr. Drinkwater. What have we done?
Well, I know what I've done. I've got to host a Toastmaster meeting in a few hours' time.
Right. That's
you
true.
could be on your own if we can't find any of these other lurkers to talk to you.
Uh-oh. Is that a hint you're leaving me to?
Yeah, I will need to very, very shortly.
All right. Because it is a long weekend up here in Canada, to all our Canadians that are watching on YouTube, have a great long weekend. And we'll see you back on Tuesday for those that are lucky enough to have Monday off, which hopefully majority of you are. And on that note, I will end it this week on a little different version of the Zoom Test Kitchen. We'll do the folk version. And this one's going out to one of our favorite audio dudes that isn't with us this week and usually joins us every often, actually usually every week. But he liked this one because it sounded quite similar to the Eagles. So we'll play that out as we go along. So take care, YouTube audience, and I'll see you after the theme.
Welcome to the Zoom Test Kitchen where the magic happens live. Every Friday we're on air, testing tech to thrive. From screen share to breakout rooms, we push Zoom to its max. So sit back, relax, and let's see what's in our tech hacks. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. We'll dive into the settings, explore every single tab. Make sure your mic is clear, your camera not a drab. We'll show you how to host like a pro, manage like a king. With Zoom Test Kitchen, you'll be zooming with a zing. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. Whether you're new to Zoom or an expert in disguise, we've got tips and tricks, we'll open up your eyes. From polls to quizzes, we test functionalities. Join us live, see what Zoom does with ease. So if your meetings lag or you can't share your screen, or if your audio echoes like you're stuck in between, we've got solutions, we'll show you how it's done. Zoom Test Kitchen, where Zoom fun has begun. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. So tune in, don't miss out on this tech fest we lead. Every Friday, Zoom Test Kitchen, where you'll succeed. We'll make your Zoom meeting smooth, keep the tech in check. In the Zoom Test Kitchen, we got your back, no wreck. These lyrics capture the essence of what the Zoom Test Kitchen does, focusing on testing and teaching about Zoom functionalities in a fun, engaging way.
All right. On that note, thanks everyone for joining us this week on the Zoom Test Kitchen. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to let YouTube know how much you like all of our content that we put out onto the YouTube universe and to the Zoom community. We're here, don't forget, every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. And see everyone next week. And stay tuned to make sure you are signed up for our newsletter on the zoomtestkitchen.com website for another edition next week of the Zoom Test Kitchen. Take care, you.